Ladies and gentlemen out there, this is Artie Lang.
This is disgusting. Everybody's too nice now. We're all so nice, aren't we? But the thing is, we're not nice. Secretly, we're mean. That's essentially the show. It is funny. I cannot be a bigger just blob of nothingness and negativity.
Party time! You want to get a little limbo dance going? Come on, I'll do it.
The third person at the table was the bottom of my stomach. With hair and paleness and stretch marks. American nightmare.
Weight like a spider.
And this talks about every controversial subject you can imagine.
Shock jock Artie Lang on Media Day. Can't be with that sweet stuff. Nah.
Smack the sugar right out of you.
Hey, what's up? It's Artie Lang. Welcome to The Breakfast Show. Artie Quitter. The Artie Quitter Podcast, the official name of the podcast. The Artie Quitter Podcast. That rolls off the tongue. Wile E. Coyote. Super genius. I kind of like the way that rolls out. Wile E. Coyote, super genius. Artie Quitter Podcast. I kind of like the way that rolls out. Right off the tongue. So that's the key to a successful podcast, is a flow off the tongue name. And my God, Artie Quitter is just goddamn motherfucking catchy. It just is. It's on the mouth of every teenage kid. Every chick is holding their bedazzled cell phone +6 iPhone cunt face. Fucking bedazzled phone with Taylor Swift's fucking ass on it. And they're texting about the Artie Quitter Podcast. That's that's all they're talking. Even Joe Namath is excited. Joe? Yeah! This is what, I saw Joe Namath on the street. That's right, we're friends. I saw Joe and I said, I'm doing a podcast. Here's what he said. Yeah!
That's a big bull.
Yeah! I saw Matthew McConaughey. That's right, we're friends. And I said, Matthew, I'm doing a podcast. Here's what he said.
That's a big bull.
Yeah! I can't get enough of that. I just can't, again, I can't get over how Joe Namath was a fucking, got more pussy than anyone who ever lived. And now he's old. That's what age does to you. And Susie Colbert, who is a fucking Sea Caucus 6, has got him all flabbergasted. And he's flubbering over his lines, stuttering. And then she says, maybe I'll fuck you. And he goes, yeah! That's not right. Yeah! That's what I say. That's what I say when I fucking think I'm going to get pussy. I go, yeah! Someone who doesn't say that is here. Geno Bisconte is one of my guests. He's a very smooth guy with the ladies. He does very well at Klan meetings. He's got a lot of pickup lines, but I do love him. I do love him. I said last night, the other night on stage, I saw Geno. Geno on the side is a racist poet, and you'd be surprised how many words end in Igor. I couldn't believe how many words ended in Igor until I met Geno and heard some of his racist poems. No, of course not. Geno is one of the funniest comics, one of the best guys doing crowd work, one of the best MCs I've ever seen in the business. He's here today, sitting in my green room, which is, of course, my couch and ottoman. Next to him, blocking out the sun, is a new thin Mike Bocchetti. That's right, guys. All you fans of the DirecTV show, The Artie Lang Show, asking, when's Bocchetti coming? When's Bocchetti coming? Well, he's here today. Mike Bocchetti in the green room with Geno Bisconte. And Geno and Mike have that showbiz feud that they're famous for. So we're going to get into that later. They're going to be my guests later. Joe Matarese and Chris Cotton are here with me normally. Couldn't be here today. I guess Joe has to pick up his kid or something earlier today.
Field trip.
Field trip? This kid's on a field trip. That's why you miss work, I guess, because your kid's on a field trip. If this is technically a job. Of course, I'm not paying him, so I can't really yell at him. Chris Cotton, not here because he's black. That's the only thing I could see. At first, Chris had committed to all 4 days a week, and then he's been here 3 of those 4. This is our 8th show. He's been here 3 times, which, I mean, you know, everything that pops into my mind has racial overtones. So I'm not going to say. Chris, of course, African American, and in these touchy times, I'm not going to say what I really feel about why Chris isn't here. Chris claims he has to go see his wife in Philadelphia. I don't buy it. I think he doesn't want to get up this early anymore. I saw him partying the other day, had a couple of free slow gin fizzes over at the stand-up New York Christmas party that they have in January. That's a comedy thing. These comedy clubs have Christmas parties in January. I don't know why that is. I think they get a good deal on, doors and stuff, liquor. But they're not here today. James Flippin behind the dish, as usual. Artie Scazzeri. I love Flippin. And, of course, Chicago Dan Filato. Tan Filato's gay lover, our favorite caller all over Twitter. They love him. We have a bunch of callers who've left voicemail so far, but Tan Filato is by far our most popular. Tan Filato claims to be Dan's gay lover from Chicago. He does a gay Chicago accent. Liberace did a gay Detroit accent. A gay Chicago accent is very difficult. What is it?
Milwaukee.
Oh, Milwaukee. Is that where Liberace's from?
Yes. Or Wisconsin, right?
Of course, Dan more up on Liberace than I am.
Well, you made me watch the movie 100 times.
I made you watch the movie, yeah.
At the DirecTV studios.
The Michael Douglas movie with Matt Damon. I can't. There's a scene where Matt Damon is fucking him in the ass in that wig. I can't get out of my head. I can't get it out of my head. Michael Douglas is laying in bed, and Douglas is doing that lame Liberace. Oh, he's a Green Bay Packer. I lost my virginity to him. Oh, you're so beautiful. Look at you. This is my baby girl, my poodle. Do you have some eye medicine for her? Ooh. Then Matt Damon just gets behind him like, ooh. And Matt Damon looks angry, like in Good Will Hunting when he's beating up those kids. Imagine when he's beating up those kids in Good Will Hunting, but instead of beating up a kid in Southie Boston, he's fucking a piano player in the ass.
I love to give people a good time.
Play that into the yeah. Can you do that?
I love to give people a good time.
Yeah! That's Joe Namath finding out that he's allowed to fuck Liberace. This is what happened. We had a microphone there.
I love to give people a good time.
Yeah! Yeah, well, that's exciting.
No, I was a goner for my first time. He was a Green Bay Packer.
Admitting that a Green Bay Packer took his virginity. And he says in that scene that the guy was the size of a door. I mean, you know how violent that must have been for a young Liberace? Picture a young Liberace, young and, not a lot of weight on him yet. You know what I mean? Like that perfect tan that he always had that I liked. Pre-fur coat, pre-jewelry, when he's just, questioning his sexuality. And a Green Bay Packer just takes him. He probably just fucking, and again, could you imagine Vince Lombardi watching that? What the hell are you doing? You're supposed to be a hell of a defensive player. Doesn't look like it to me. You're fucking a guy in the ass. What the hell are you doing? You're fucking a guy in the ass. God damn it. Nobody's fucking out there. Everybody's grabbing. Grab. Take him and fuck him in his ass. Fuck his mouth. Fuck his ass. That brings me to my new sponsor. Now, I'll talk about, there's a couple of scares with I'll explain to you guys why I charge every month. I have an article here about my great friend Norm Macdonald. I'll explain why it might be hard for me to get fucking sponsors, because I like doing material like that. This isn't a guy. No other podcast charges. Yeah, because a lot of them are talking about cooking and how to fucking install wallpaper and the proper way to fucking drywall a bathroom. I'm talking about Vince Lombardi watching a Packer fuck a guy in the ass.
I love to give people a good time.
What do you think I'm gonna go? Yeah, you're not fucking his mouth. Fuck his mouth more. I want you're supposed to be a hell of a defensive end. Fuck him in his ass and come down his mouth. I want you to come down his fucking cocksucker mouth. What do you think, a McDonald's is going to advertise after that? Even though McDonald's has killed more people than ISIS. Jesus Christ. What the hell? You say you love to give people a good time. You were a goner from the beginning. Well, I'm a goner. I can't watch this shit. Supposedly, by the way, Vince Lombardi might have had a gay brother. I'm not sure. I think he might have had a gay brother. I'm not sure. I don't want any lawsuits. But he was, he looked like a guy not sensitive to the needs of the hippie generation. But supposedly he was a very sort of progressive-minded guy because of that. And he knew about a couple of players who were homosexual, and he was very, very good to them, which is, that's very commendable, especially back then, because it's hard to do. But
it is in print that he was gay.
It is in print that his brother was gay.
And that's why he was very lenient to the gay Green Bay
well,
Packers.
Listen, that's Twinkles Lombardi.
Maybe that's why the Bears didn't want to tackle him very
That's
hard.
what they call it. See, it's jokes like that, Dan, that make the gay people not want to come out of the closet because of you, because of your closed-minded Chicago bullshit.
Only 414 bias.
Dan claims to be a liberal, but he's one of those Chicago liberals. He just hates blacks and gays. And he claims to be a liberal. I'm a liberal. I vote for... fuck the gays. That's not true. Dan's very understanding. But Vince Lombardi, his son, though, if you watch his son get interviewed, his son looks like he was brought up by a guy who might not have been sensitive to a lot of things. His son has a twitch that just looks like Vince Lombardi screamed at him every 2 seconds. He has this thing he does with his eyes where he closes them real quick, and he's like, I love my dad. He was a great dad. Don't have long hair, though. Don't have fucking long hair. Whatever you do, don't have long hair. Whatever you do, don't have fucking long hair. What the hell? You got long hair. You look like a fruit. You look like your uncle, for Christ's sake. What the hell are you doing? You're getting fucked by Liberace. I'll tell you one thing. You better be the goddamn top.
I am so sick of getting fan mail about my engagement to Sonia Henny. As if I would marry an ice skater.
There's no way you're fucking Sonia Henny.
Thighs.
I tell you, if you're fucking Liberace while you're a Green Bay Packer, you better be the top. I'm not tolerating the bottom.
Please, those thighs.
Please, those thighs. Anyway, yeah. So, I think that's very commendable of Vince Lombardi, because I think about how hard that is. It's still hard nowadays, man. That's why is Michael Sam still in the league, or did he get cut?
No.
The gay player for
he might be on a practice squad somewhere.
I give him a lot of credit.
No,
that
he's
guy. I mean, for coming out of the closet. Forget about. I know the refs and the players and the coaches. They're going to be cool with it, obviously. But it's the fans. Could you imagine a guy coming out on the Eagles as being gay and he drops a big pass in the end zone at a home Philly game? Could you imagine what they're going to say? They're animals. Animals. That's why it still takes a lot of balls. And the fans are going to look, we paid for our ticket. We can say whatever we want. So I think that takes a lot of guts. A lot of guts. And so I hope somebody else has the balls to come out. I feel Jay Cutler is homosexual. I'm not going to out him here, but I feel that's my opinion. I think Christine Cavallari is a beard. Dan, your thoughts?
I couldn't agree more.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. In any event, I thought this would be a good opportunity to maybe go over some things on my own, since the guys aren't here, before I bring Geno and Mike on for the second segment. A lot of people on Twitter, a lot of my fans, a lot of the people that were nice enough to sign up already, and I really appreciate you guys. Obviously they're big Stern fans, and they're all asking, what's the real story with Howard? What happened? That's a constant thing that obviously I can't talk about on the Tonight Show. I can't talk about in stand-up because it's more of a serious thing. I couldn't really get into on my DirecTV show because I was working for a big corporation. I had 11-minute segments before I had to get to a commercial, and, I couldn't be really honest. We're talking about sponsors and stuff, and everyone's like, I can't really get into it on Twitter. Everybody's like, what really happened with Howard? They're looking for dirt. And, a lot of people give Howard shit, and this is what really aggravates me. And I just want to set them straight. Not that Howard cares, but I do want to set them straight. A lot of people out there say, oh, Howard could have done more. He knew you were in trouble, and he could have done more for you, blah, blah, blah. Guys, I have to say this. Nothing could be farther from the truth. He did a ton. And I destroyed myself. That's what happens. I hate drug addicts who blame everybody else. I have a family who saved my life. A mother and sister, thank God, who saved my life. I've had women in my life who've helped me. But Howard did an incredible amount to help me. Incredible amount. He paid a lot of money to talk to a shrink. And there's a couple of sessions he dedicated to telling the guy about me, to try to find me a therapist. And I'm sure the guy, I don't know what he cost, but I'm sure the guy was very expensive. And to waste a whole session talking about my fat ass just because I'm a friend who he wanted to help. And eventually he got a name. He got a name from the guy, a great shrink on Fifth Avenue in the 70s. That's where the shrink was. So he was a good shrink. Of course, like other shit in my life, I procrastinated. And that number sat on my desk in my office. That's right, I have an office. Stop laughing. But sat on my desk for 3 fucking years before I did anything. So whose fault is that? That's my fault. Howard sat me down plenty of times, not only on the air, but in private. He said to me, listen, go get better. You go to a rehab. Take as long as you want. You need a month. You need 3 weeks. You need 2 months. Go get better. When you come back, your job is here. How much better could a boss be? And everybody there was supportive. They were like a family. Gary was supportive. The great Fred Norris, who I love. Benji, great guy. Robin, one of the most generous, sweetest people I've ever known. And, all the guys in the back for the TV show, and, Will Murray and Goodstein and DePace and Ganji, all those guys who I love, Richie Wilson. Even High Pitch Mike I've become friends with, and he was always a good guy to me, but especially Howard. When you go to rehab and you're a heroin addict, and it's still hard for me to say that, but look, that's what happened. I can't help but be honest with you guys. When you go away, one of the things a counselor says, and they call it wreckage. They go, you're leaving behind wreckage when you go through that. You leave wreckage behind in your life, and it could be financially, emotionally. You ruin relationships. They say, listen, there's going to be people in your family. There's going to be friends that you had, that you considered great friends, who are not going to be able to be your friends anymore. Like, some people take it as far as they can go, man, and then they don't know what to do. And you're going to lose those friendships. That's just going to happen. Doesn't reflect on them as people, but maybe they did everything they could do, and they just can't do it anymore. And not only, I was on the Howard Stern Show for 8.5 years. Creatively and as a comedian, it was the greatest time of my life. 8.5 years working on the biggest show ever. 20 million people listening to you. The immediacy of radio, it's such a great medium. As a comic, you sit in front of a microphone, and on the Howard Stern Show, like when you do a movie, you got to shoot it, you rewrite it, and then it takes maybe a year to come out, and then you have test audiences. Does that joke work? Does this joke work? In stand-up, you get an immediate response, but usually it's on the road at the fucking Hack Shot and the fucking Funny Bone and the Dickweed Lounge and all that. You go through all these bad clubs, and you have to learn how to do your act, and that takes a while. Television, unless it's live, but that takes a lot of preparation, even if it's live, takes a while to get on the air. But radio, it was amazing. You just sat down in front of a microphone, you thought of a humorous thought or a joke, and you said it, and immediately when it comes to the Stern Show, not one city's hearing it. It's not just St. Louis or something. It's 10 to 20 million people around North America are hearing it, which means you could then plug gigs and do gigs in those cities and make a bunch of money on top of the money you make there. The Stern Show was the greatest time of my life career-wise. Absolutely unbelievable, creatively and, of course, business-wise. I've said this before. I started making 80 to 100 grand a weekend, sometimes a night, doing stand-up. I had one time, the most I ever made in one night, I made $140,000 in one night on Super Bowl Eve at Mandalay Bay. Okay, I got paid 60 grand for 2 shows in one night, 60 grand each. It's 120 grand. Then they paid me $20,000. All I had to do was fucking stand in the corner of their shithead club I forget what it was called, but they just said, we want to say you were at the club. They gave me 20 grand to do that. So do the math. 140 G's. Now take away the money I lost at the tables, the money I lost on the game, the sports book, the $10,000 whore. And guys, you know what a $10,000 whore looks like? Carmen Electra. Okay? And you don't, but guess what you don't get? The bullshit of dating Carmen Electra.
You made me happy.
Yeah. You don't get any of that. You don't get the bullshit of hearing about her career. You don't get the Carmen Electra. I'm thinking of taking another acting class. Because I really think, my acting is underrated. Don't you think so? Yeah. I think your acting's underrated. I could have my own show, don't you think? Yeah. I could be like Lucille Ball, don't you think? Yeah. You could be like Lucille Ball, Carmen. You should take another fucking acting class. If you don't mind, I'm trying to watch the Jet Dolphin game that I have the under on. If you don't shut up, I'm going to leap off the terrace. So what a $10,000 whore is, you get Carmen Electra, but she doesn't talk about her acting class. She doesn't ask you to lie and say she's as funny as Lucille Ball. You know what she does? She bangs you, she takes the money, and then sometimes she folds your socks and leaves them in the corner. That's an extra $2,000 for that. But okay, so minus that, minus the drugs, the pills, whatever the hell, blah, 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 and the commission I paid to my agents, who are always right there for that commission, baby. Boy, they don't fucking forget about that. Right off the top, I got back on a 7 a.m. flight after staying up all night. A 7 a.m. flight. I made $140,000 for the night. I did the math. The weekend cost me $5,000. The weekend cost me I'm going to say that again. The weekend cost me $5,000. Do you know how difficult it is to? I don't care. I was in first class too. That didn't help. And the movie was like a Jude Law movie that was science fiction. I forget the name of it, but like there were monsters involved. And I'm trying to watch that. I'm ordering Jack and Waters like Jack Daniels is having its going away party. And that was my life. That was my. So you're gonna blame Howard for that? That I was down $5,000? No. You thank Howard for getting me the opportunity to make $140,000. The rest is my fault. I became a junkie, and it's sad. It's sad. But one of those friendships that the counselor was talking about that I lost was Howard. I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't talked to Howard maybe more than 2 or 3 times since I left the show. That's 5.5 years now. And Howard and I, besides having a great comedic rapport on the air, I mean, Benji and I got to sit in between 2 comedic geniuses, because Fred Nars is nothing short of a comedic genius. Fred is just unbelievable. And obviously Howard is. So what I learned about comedy in those 8.5 years is invaluable. They were 3 feet to my left and 3 feet to my right. And in Howard's case, you're talking about 3 feet from the greatest person to do what he's doing in the world. It's like Scottie Pippen being next to Michael Jordan. The guy left regular radio and it got turned on its ear. Yeah, that's impact. That's impact. But and he's the greatest comedic partner I've ever had. Norm Macdonald is up there, obviously, the great Norm, who I'm going to talk about later. Norm, one of my favorite people ever, one of the most brilliant people I've ever known. There's an article about him, about his Twitter, that I want to get to. People are just figuring out that Norm is really smart. Wow, there's a surprise. You don't get to be that funny without being smart, by the way. David Herman and some people, Orlando Jones, I work with at Mad TV. They were great comedic partners, and Fred, unbelievable. But Howard and I, when we were in a groove on that show, I'm so proud of those mornings. And a lot of fans tweet me sound on Twitter of mornings from like 2003, 2005. And the fans are so good to me. They're such sweethearts. I love them. They're very nice. They go, Art, I'm listening to this and it's cheering me up through a bad time. You and Howard talking to Crazy Alice. May of 2003. And they'll send the clip and I'll listen to it and I get melancholy. It is. I feel like, wow, I was a part of that. I was a part of the greatest show ever. And Howard let me in that room to do it every morning. And it was very, very touching, but also just fun. I got paid to laugh. people would say, we just loved hearing you guys laugh. And I would laugh every morning at, Sal and Richard's phone calls sometimes were so fucking funny. I couldn't stop laughing. Freddie, what he would do with the sound effects, Freddie's impressions, and then Howard talking about his parents and doing the thing with his mother on the fucking megaphone that he had. Just it was like being a fan of that show, and then all of a sudden I'm sitting there. It's like playing for the Yankees. Like watching the Yankees your whole life, and all of a sudden you're playing shortstop, like Derek Jeter talked about. That was my form of Yankee Stadium. And besides having that great rapport on the air, I became a genuine friend of Howard's. We talked on the phone. We would have dinner. We double dated a lot back in those days. Beth is such a doll. Beth is such a sweetheart. Very, very generous, classy person. I got to meet Howard's kids. They're also wonderful. The kids are like sweethearts. You could tell they were raised right, and it was good to be a part of that. Like I had an affection for Howard because I grew up listening to him, and now he gave me this amazing job. And I was proud to call him a friend. We spent a couple of New Year's Eves together where we ended up back at his apartment. Hanging out with people like Ross Zapin and his lovely wife, Melissa, who I love as well. I mean, it was great to be a part of that whole thing. And Howard and Beth were extremely generous people. Very generous. Like I say, Howard, said, go get better for 2 months. And when you come back, you have a job. There's nothing else Howard could have done. He did everything. And like I said, I was there 8.5 years, and 8 of them were amazing. The last 6 months were terrible. The heroin completely took over. And I would try to get clean, but when I got clean, I was like shot out of a cannon. My timing was off, and I wasn't great on the show anymore. Matter of fact, I started to suck. And, a lot of people came in, like Chris Rock came in that famous day where a lot of people talk about and said, Howard, you're going to have to fire Artie as a wake-up call because it might save his life. But Howard couldn't do stuff like that. He thought firing me would have been hurtful for me financially. And you know what? Howard was right. I think he knew how to deal with somebody like me. And firing me wouldn't have been the move. He didn't want to do that. So he had done all he could do. And then one day, I got called in to talk to Howard and Tim Sabean. And 8 years, he never gave me a note. Never gave me a note off the air. It just sort of worked. And again, I said this before, I wasn't the funniest person going up for that job because there were a lot of funny comedians trying to get that job. But no one was a bigger fan of the show than I was. No one. And I knew the show, and that helped me. I knew when to shut up as well as when to talk. So after 8 years of that, I got called into a meeting after the show in the studio. It was just me, Howard, and Tim Sabean, just the three of us. And Tim, another guy who was always nice to me, but he was there, I guess, for support for Howard because Howard was not confrontational with stuff like that. And he was trying to figure out how to tell me, Art, you have to get better because it's not working. For the first time, this is really affecting the job. And I think he thought that might have been a wake-up call. And he said, something's not working. We always had a chemistry that worked. But now you're interrupting Robin. I'm trying to talk, and the chemistry isn't there. And I think he was trying to scare me straight, like, you got to get better. And I said, Howard, I promise I will. I promise I will. And it would happen for a little while, and then I would fall off the wagon, and it would get worse again. And then finally, I think he was just flabbergasted. He didn't know what to do. And that's when I made a decision. I said, I can't leave this up to him. My time here might be over. My run might be over, and I want to let him off the hook. And the only way to let him off the hook is maybe I'll have to quit the job. And say I got another opportunity, or it's just the time has come and I got to go. And I found out he didn't want me to do that either. He was definitely afraid of what would happen to me if I left. I really think he felt that way because he's a good guy. He comes from nothing. He's self-made. He's not some rich kid who doesn't know how to deal with people. I related to him in a lot of ways. And what happened was something happened on the air, and I've never said this before, but this really affected me. One time on the air, Robin or somebody jokingly said, you'll have to bring up Artie to your shrink again because I had done something on the air that was crazy. And Howard dead seriously said, I'm not allowed to bring up Artie at my shrink appointments anymore. And Robin said, what? And I was like, what? I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, my therapist said I'm not allowed to talk about you anymore in the fucking shrink appointment. So now I'm thinking, wait a minute. In my head, I'm going, he's talking about me so much in not a good way, probably, at these therapist appointments, to where the fucking guy made a rule. You can't talk about me. That woke me up. That was like, oh my God. I gotta get out of this, because not only am I ruining this friendship and the show, I'm ruining this guy's life. That's how I started to feel. You're talking about a guy who's spending $4,000 a minute probably for a shrink, and he's choosing to use that time to bitch about me. Like, I mean, and Howard had a busy life. You know, he's got, an ex-wife, children, an empire he's running on the radio, other irons in the fire with business, and, Ralph telling him his belt doesn't match his shirt. Blah, 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 blah. And, of course, a marriage, which always takes work. And, I really felt terrible. I felt guilty. I felt bad. And that's what drugs had done. If that's not the biggest advertisement for an anti-drug thing, I was making, all told for a while, $3 million a year over there. I mean, that's, and I threw that away because of dope. Now, the time on that show, even after going away for a year and a half, that show is so big, and I was on long enough to where these fans are very loyal. I still sell out theaters not because I'm so great. I still get specials on Comedy Central. I still get shows and opportunities like this and DirecTV and book deals. I had another book, a second book was on the New York Times bestsellers list. Not because I'm a great writer, not because I'm hilarious, because I was on the Howard Stern show for 8.5 years. I'm not delusional, but I'm very, very grateful for that. But, it had gotten to the point where, like, I'm on TV. Every inch of that show was taped on television. I was texting bookies and dealers. I'm on television in the background of, like, the most iconic radio figure on the planet. If I'm not passed out or nodding off from heroin, I am, first of all, I look homeless. I'm texting. Guess who I'm texting? I'm texting bookies and dealers. That's when you're out of control. Like, it's on another level. But none of this stuff made me do more drugs. Nothing is Howard's fault. Nothing is my mother's fault or my sister's fault or my dad falling off a roof. And I've been in rehab with a lot of people who bitch and moan about shit like that, and I hate it. It's my fault. I was weak, and I would rather have been high than deal with life for a while. And I'm still here because of people like Howard and the people at that show and really good friends. But of course, mostly because my mom and sister, family, my blood. I come from a strong Italian women, and they're my blood, and they're the reason I'm alive. I remember some people from AA telling my mother, listen, the ultimatum here is with the steps, you have to give him an ultimatum. Like, look, if you don't stop, I'm never going to talk to you again. And my mother said, well, you have to skip that because you're talking to an Italian mother from Jersey. That's never going to happen. They're like, no, it has to happen. And she's like, no, you don't understand. You don't get it. You're not talking to some kid who's cooking meth in Missouri, whose mother is a dope head who wants to play bingo instead of hang out with their kids. My kids are my life. I'm never not going to be in his life. I'll be trying to save his life till I take my last breath. And my sister's like that too. And I felt guilty because, what am I doing to their life? But anyway, I'm still here for some reason. And another big reason is the fans. And again, I'm talking to you. The people listening to this podcast are about as loyal as it gets. You're so nice to me when I see you. I hug you people. The fans are like, I never met you before, but I feel like you're my cousins or something. Really, really warm and generous. Even the people who break balls on Twitter, I appreciate your friendship and you guys being fans. But I want to say that's the full and real dope with Howard. That is it. The man tried everything. And I'm probably alive because of him. But after a while, with someone with that many problems, eventually you have to let them go. You have to let them go. And you're going to die or get better. And because of my family, I got better. And I'm here. Do I still struggle? Every fucking day. Every fucking day. But I thank you fans for being there. And also the other thing is, Howard doesn't have me on the show anymore. People, how come he's not having you on the show? That's not a hostile thing. I'm still friends with those people over there. Think about how I left. It's really tragic and crazy. And Howard doesn't want to be. If I go on that show and one little thing happens, I don't think that it will, but how do they know that for sure? One little thing happens that makes me go off the deep end again. He doesn't want to be responsible for that. He knows it would be ratings and everything. He appreciates the fans wanting it. But, in a way, he has integrity. He's saying, look, more than having a big show that gets attention, I'd rather Artie not risk it. And I understand that completely. And I appreciate it. I appreciate him. There's a lot of ways he could have blocked my career since I left there. Norm and I had Nick DiPaolo and I. Nick DiPaolo and I had our DirecTV show, and after a few months, it was going well enough to where Sirius wanted to air it. And Howard could have put the kibosh on that with one phone call, but, they had to ask him, of course. And he okayed it. Howard has never stood in the way of my career since I left that show. I think secretly he supported it. I'm with the same agency as Howard. I'm with Don Buchwald. Tony Byrne over there, good man. And Don Buchwald didn't abandon me. He's Howard's guy. He could have easily done that too. And Howard, with one phone call, could put the kibosh on me having an agent. He's never done that. But being on the show might be a little much, and I understand it. I get it. I agree with him. So that's the real story, guys. That's as honest as I can be with you. I love those guys. I always will. I consider them a family that I just don't talk to as much anymore, and that's my fault, and I feel bad about it. But Howard, Gary, Robin, Freddie, Benji, all the guys in the back, the TV guys, I miss them, I love them, and I wish them nothing but the best. And the show is still amazing. When I put it on, I don't hear it as much anymore, because quite frankly, sometimes it hurts a little bit to hear it, but I wish I was there sometimes. But I'm happy that I moved on. You got to move on in life. What are you going to do? I got a couple of mortgages. I got to keep doing this. But the show's still great because Howard's still there talking into the mic, and he could do that by himself and come away with ratings. So I chose today with the two other guys not here because I have some time to talk by myself before I bring the great Geno, Bisconte, and Bocchetti on for the next segment. But you guys wanted to hear about that. You've been bugging me about it on Twitter. Not bugging me, but you've been asking, and I wanted to address it so you know exactly what happened. And that's it. I'll get more into what's happened in my life since then. And at the end of my last book, Crash and Burn, I mentioned that there's a couple of people that I hated because of stuff they did to me while I was at my lowest point. And I don't have time to get into that today. But you know what? A little tease. At some point next week, I think I might tell that story because it warrants telling. I'll talk about at least one of the people that did something that really fucking aggravated me. And I'll tell it in a diplomatic way. And the person can come on the show and talk about it, or in person, which I think is more heartfelt. But yeah, at some point I'll talk about that. But there it is, guys. More of my bullshit chaos life in a nutshell. I love you all for listening. We're going to take a break on the Artie Quitter podcast. When we come back, two of my favorite comedians in the whole world, two of my favorite people in the whole world, we'll sit in and we'll have some fun. We got some voicemails that are hilarious. We'll get Geno Bisconte and Mike Bocchetti's take on the world. I love Bocchetti's political material, just the finest there is. I'm looking to get his take on Paris. And that is it, guys. You asked for it, you got it. Love you all. Talk to you in a break after this. Hey, welcome back to the Artie Quitter podcast. My sister's here with her dog, Vinny. Stace has 3 dogs these days, and one of them's Vinny. What's up, Stace? You got to talk. Give her that mic.
Hi, Art.
How you doing, Stace?
Good, thanks.
And you have Vinny here. I got to say, Dan Filato, my roommate and now producer, or producer now roommate, is a big dog guy, and hearing him do his doggy voice, it's very disconcerting. It's very like, ooh, I get the chills. Like hey, how you doing? How you doing? Who's that big boy? Who's that big boy? He goes, who's that big boy? And then he told me about a problem that one of the dogs had with their ass while they were at the vet. And he goes, oh yeah, Vinny was having trouble. He couldn't poo. I said, we're two adults, Dan. We're two adult men in a living room. Say he couldn't shit or something. He couldn't poo. Vinny couldn't poo. And so he's at the vet. And then he goes, oh, who's that big boy? Who's that big doggy? Who's that in that Chicago? Like, who's that big doggy boy? Who's that big doggy boy? I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Talk like a man.
I love it, Art. I talk to my brother's dog like that.
Mike, please. Dan, any defense? Your thoughts? Your thoughts on this?
I think Mike and I should get a dog together.
I had the over-under at like half a minute before you busted his chops. That was good. Mike, please.
Stacey,
You're talking.
Stacey, I know you love Dan because he's into dogs, but does that creep you out as a woman when he does that voice?
That's not a no. Does it creep you out when he's about to talk and say, I'm going to do it doggy style, looking at your dog? Does that creep you? Creep you out?
Do you feel now?
Just trying to help.
Be serious, Stace, because he's been alone with the dogs. Do you feel Dan has made love to any of your dogs?
No.
Okay.
That was a slow roll.
Right, because some people in the family disagree.
Yeah, but he just loves animals a lot. They're the best. Better than people.
No.
But I feel you fuck dogs too, though.
No.
So you're not anybody to talk.
No, I'll say to my brother's dog, hi, baby.
See, that's disgusting.
Did you just hear that, Dan? Do you understand? Hi, baby. Do that again.
Hi, baby. I love animals.
Just isolate that, please.
Could you isolate that? And then can we get a boom mic and hook it up to the back of a windowless white van? Can we please do that? Can we just walk down the street and have Mike's face plastered on the side and then just go down like Chamber Street?
That's why I love Geno Bisconte. That was one of the quickest. That's one of the quickest, best jokes I've ever heard.
Can we do that?
A windowless white van.
And just his voice, hi, baby. And we'll call it the Mike Bocchetti.
No, just play that. Just play that. Hey, baby.
And then we'll call it the Mike Bocchetti Keeping It a Secret
but then
tour.
right after that, you hear Dan go, we can't poo. Our dog can't poo.
Oh, my God.
Do it again, Mike.
Hi, baby.
Oh,
I love that dog.
Hi, baby can't poo.
I shouldn't have an erection when he does that, though, right? I shouldn't.
No, you shouldn't.
That's
you should never
weird.
have an erection.
It's weird.
Yeah, Mike, so you're a big dog lover then too, Mike?
Yeah, better than people. I love animals a lot better.
Well, they shouldn't say that, Mike. So if you could save your like one of your cousins or a dog in a fire, what would you save?
It depends which cousin it is.
So you would save... well, there's some human beings you'd rather die, child molesters and stuff. If you
Yeah,
knew.
oh yeah. No, they should burn in eternity.
So you'd rather save a dog than a child molester?
Is it burn
Absolutely.
in eternity or burn for eternity?
Gino, you're going to start correcting him?
Because I can't. That preposition is just dangling.
But if you're
there.
going to start
He should
correcting him, we're
he
going to
should-
be here all fucking
he
day.
should correct. He should
in
correct
eternity
that-
is not a
he
place.
should correct that hippie paraphernalia.
Now,
Once
let's-
again, can everyone on the podcast see what he's pointing at?
No, wait,
no.
let's talk.
Stop it.
Is that Gino? Is that your way of making?
They're going to be looking for that in eternity.
You're making
He
fun
should
of us.
be liberal.
Gino's making fun of us for not having the budget for a video component.
No, I'm just saying he knows we don't
No,
have a
but no,
video
God,
component.
look at those.
We're getting a video component.
This is Greenwich Village.
My
right?
nephew made that. It's Charger
really?
colors, and it's good luck for my
Stace, let me go.
podcast.
I'm sorry.
This is a group of guys that could creep out a woman that quick.
Oh no.
I'm sorry. So Vinny's going to come over here. Now, what do you think of Mike? What do you think of Stace? What kind of dog is that?
He's a Brussels Griffon.
You know what? I always get dog types confused with Christmas tree types. Like, is that a Brussels Griffon or a Scotch fur or a? I don't understand. That's a Brussels Griffon.
Yeah, like the dog and as good as it
Do they shed like Christmas trees?
No, they don't shed at all.
Oh, that's the as good as it gets dog.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
it is.
okay. You know, we were talking about Helen Hunt in that movie, and
He
I
said
find
Hunt.
why it doesn't work for me is she's asexual to me. Do you find Helen Hunt asexual?
I kind of like. What's her name? I just seen her.
I'm not asking you who you
Yeah,
like. Mike.
yeah. You have to answer the question.
I can name a million women I find.
I
I'm
forgot what
talking
she
about-
looks like.
Helen Hunt.
Helen Hunt?
Yeah, I think she's
Well,
blonde
she was
with like
in one of the biggest sitcoms ever in a
Oh, yeah.
movie, but why would you think that?
No, she had like a Dutch boy haircut.
I think she's very sexual. I'm attracted to Helen Hunt.
Nice breasts.
Yeah.
That one
Pretty
scene where
face,
she's
great.
Her shirt is wet when she comes to his
Yeah, and
apartment.
she covers them up.
Nicholson, but again, you take Nicholson like in plenty of movies. You take Nicholson out of that movie, but you take Nicholson out of Cuckoo's Nest. It's not as good.
See, I disagree. I think the writing in that movie, as good as it gets, obviously Cuckoo's Nest,
sometimes
is great.
Sometimes Jim Brooks comes through.
Yeah, I thought there was a lot of funny lines in that. I thought.
I don't know. I think it's a tad overrated, but he's great in it, and there's a lot of good lines. Helen Hunt she reminds me of like Ellen DeGeneres a little bit.
No, I mean I'm not saying you're wrong for saying no. No
David
way.
Spade had the best thing. Before Ellen DeGeneres came out and she was doing stand up on the road, Spade, who thinks every girl wants to fuck him for some reason, Spade, and he does very well, by the way. But Spade was on the road with her. I think he was doing. He told me this story. This is funny, Spade sarcasm. He was at the Dallas Improv with her, and they were, working together. She was middling, he was middling, headlining her. They were going back and forth, whatever. So they were in a hotel room together, and he was hitting on her. Yeah, I'm hitting on her, and nothing happens the whole weekend. And I was wondering why. And then a couple of years later, I got the news. That's the way he said it every
She
time.
had that thing.
Yeah. Well, you guys are comedians, maybe.
That's what I'm hearing.
I want to. Well, first of all, there's a big show business feud with the Bocchetti Bisconte.
Oh yeah, it never
I think
never
there's a
ends.
feud.
I got some people from the Hills of Sicily.
There's a big-
after him right now.
Well, not like Mike.
There's a big feud with Mike in the English language. I have no problem with them. They just don't click.
A
Yeah, but at least
windowless-
they would have had traffic lights.
A
You know, you look like
windowless-
way in
Know
like
what that
Jersey.
means? See,
like-
there he is abusing the language
Oh,
again.
wait, so-
You are the Ray Rice of the American lexicon.
No, but at least
you just
I-
smack it
Can
around.
I tell you my favorite joke of the podcast so far in the 2 weeks is the windowless white fan
Thank you very much.
with Mike Boschetti's voice.
That's right. Daddy digs deep when he comes on the Artie
He
Lang
does. He loves
podcast.
to-
Now you
loves
just
to
ruined
roast
it.
I know. It's
Saying Daddy digs deep.
Daddy digs deep.
He always keeps throwing
Combined
that
with
tagline in.
Dan going poo.
That's alliteration. I'm sorry.
What were you saying, Mike? I'm
That
sorry.
tagline, Daddy. Shut up with Daddy. You're not an 80-year-old man with a girl half your age. You know what I mean?
Actually, I was practically.
Oh,
for a
yeah, that's
while.
right. She was hot.
She left me.
I loved a nice girl.
She wised up.
Now, Mike, how is your love life going? You've lost a lot of weight.
I'm trying. I still get hit on by foreign women in Facebook. That wanna-
Foreign women?
Yeah. Like other countries. Like in my
But didn't you have a
inbox.
lot of
Called
bad luck
Russian
with that?
escorts, Michael.
Weren't you catfished quite a bit?
Oh yeah, yeah. I learned the right away. I mean, like
What
when
happened there?
When I actually got a woman that had no friends in common with me, that's smoking hot, and I'm like, oh, forget this. She's playing a game here.
But did you ever actually go try to meet someone?
Yeah, I almost did. She was super young though. That was when we were on the show. She was like,
Now be careful.
Oh,
careful.
no.
Yeah, no, you don't want to.
No, I'd rather see a
arrested.
woman-
How young are we talking?
probably like 20 years old, but that's super ridiculous.
Yeah, but 20 years old is
Yeah,
one
fantastic.
thing.
No, but that's insane. Dan
What's your
gave me-
biggest age difference, Mike? The biggest difference in age, between a chick you boned.
No, but Dan is right. Dan was always right about one thing.
Does he
about
ever answer
that.
the questions
No,
directed
I'm trying
at him,
to
or does he
I'm
go?
trying to answer.
That's a very good question. Humid. I'd say it's humid.
Well,
in
when
Phoenix.
you ask the question and then don't stop talking.
but
Give us your
somewhere
biggest
in the-
age difference, Mike. How about
Somewhere in the
and then he
ramble
does-
I answer it.
And then he does crowd work.
No, but Dan always was right about a lot,
Boy, are my
a lot
arms
of things
tired,
because
Mike.
having someone in like 10 years younger is not too bad. But the woman that I was chasing
Well, you're
was
61.
ridiculous.
I mean, you're 61 years old.
But I want a woman that was like late 20s or early 30s.
Somehow, when Mike says "woman I'm chasing," it doesn't conjure up the same picture as, like, say,
First of
Brad
all,
Pitt is chasing Angelina
if
Jolie.
a woman, if you're able
He's
to catch,
chasing her with an
if you're
axe.
able to catch a woman, she's
Chloroform.
probably. If you're able to catch, I'm gonna wait for Geno to stop talking.
I'm sorry.
If you're waiting, if a woman is fat enough for you to catch her, you don't want to fuck her anyway, right? Because you can't run. I mean, you're not David Beckham.
Yeah.
I mean, like, who can you catch?
Nobody really. I'm not a good runner.
Yeah, you don't catch a woman by outrunning them. You bait them with a pie or something.
I mean,
Look,
yeah,
I caught her.
If you told me I caught a woman running, I'm like, so you're dating Roseanne Barr.
Oh, I wouldn't mind how she got some dough.
Would you date a woman just for the money at this point? Would you be a gigolo?
Yeah, I mean, I want to have a house on Palmer Park Avenue.
He's a jiggle a lot.
A couple of Rolex watches, Movado. Yeah, I don't care.
You went from Rolex to Movado. You went from $4,000 to like $8 on the street. Well, listen, I hope that happens.
I'm
Mike.
only kidding. I could never do that.
I think. Listen, though, you gotta put one foot in front of the other, like the Abominable Snowman and the Rudolph.
I love
cartoon.
that. Do you ever tape that?
Yeah,
I think Jason
Yeah, I'm
had
just
it, like-
saying you have to put you got to go out the door, man. You
Oh,
gotta.
yeah.
I mean, not always be afraid of being catfished. I mean, it might happen every once in a while. You might be arrested, do some time, but that's all right. You have to attack life.
I know. There's a lot of hot women out. Like at the benefit we did the other night, there were some hot women there.
Okay, let's talk about that. We did a benefit. Rick Shapiro, who is a comic that we all love, unique comedian, has Parkinson's disease, unfortunately. They say that drugs might not have anything to do with it. I think the 8 million Adderall Rick has taken might have something to do with it, or the methamphetamine, or the street hustling that he did in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Geno, your thoughts?
I think the man has committed to where he is right now in life. He doesn't backpedal on anything.
Got a
He's
great
done.
wife.
His wife is great.
Girlfriend, she really sticks up
But
for him.
it's not like you can spend Rick's amazing, and you could spend an entire day with him, and not once will he be like, "What the hell was I doing?" He's all about where he is now and moving forward. I love that. He doesn't have an ounce of regret.
Right.
Which is great.
He lives in L.A. where, again, he was saying this on the podcast a couple of days ago. He's not a mainstream comedian, Rick, and out there it's kind of hard because you get all these younger guys who just have 7 solid, tight, neat minutes that are not controversial. They take no risks. They want a sitcom. They all want the sitcom.
Yeah.
Mike, your thoughts?
Yeah, but I made a mistake out there. Could have hit me in the butt out there.
You made a mistake. You got hit in the butt? Could you poo?
Almost. It was kind of catastrophic. But
Catastrophic. I'm not going to say anything. Catastrophic.
catastrophic, sorry.
Yeah, what happened, Mike?
You know the golden rule of comedy. When you go out to L.A.
Never fuck a dog in front of people?
Don't.
That's the second show of comedy.
You never know who's watching. You just have something solid you're working on, right? I went up there.
Is that the golden rule of comedy?
That's the first time I've been in comedy 27 years. I never heard that.
golden rule of comedy.
No, I'm just saying if you're going to have a showcase center, you know what I mean? I went out there. I was halfway through my act.
Which
I started improv.
35 seconds in.
No, I started
He was on the second knock. Knock. Folks are halfway through.
That's when you usually close with a beefsteak Bruno's or wherever, Gene.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, I improv.
Were you afraid to get a lawsuit from Beefsteak Charlie's?
Yeah.
You changed it?
They're not around anymore. No,
Why'd you
Sisler will
say
come after me.
Beefsteak Bruno?
We got a cease and desist from Beefsteak Charlie's.
No,
You got on him. He just said decent desist. You could have fucked with him now.
well,
Laughing too hard.
life has fucked with him enough, so you know.
So you were doing a set. You're halfway through. What
and I
happened?
started improvising like crazy, and it killed.
You improv.
I just got off my act and just improved. Right?
Well, what does that say about your act?
No. But the thing
Why
is,
did you get off your act? Was it not working?
No, I was having fun, and I just felt so comfortable up there, and I just didn't even care.
Yeah. And how long did you improv for?
Maybe like half of it at least, like 20 minutes.
Do you remember anything you were saying in the improv?
No, it just happened in the moment.
No. Well, you have to remember something. If it was killing that hard, because this is how you could write new material. We all have been there where you think of new shit on stage. With Geno, it's usually somebody else's joke. But, you think of new... Are you worried about that, the Robin Williams thing, where I thought I improv'd it, but it was really something Mitch Hedberg said? Or
That's why I don't like watching a lot of people, because you start to write stuff and you're like, did I say this or is it mine?
Yeah, is that true, Geno?
What?
You don't like watching other comics because you might steal from them?
No, not necessarily, because I think you have that, at least you have that inner voice where you know when it's yours. And how many times have you seen a comic start doing a bit that's exactly the same premise as yours, and they go in a completely different direction? Like, oh my God, you know?
And sometimes it's better.
Right. Oh, without a doubt. A lot. You're like, how did I not think of that?
In your case, it's probably every single time.
It's like, again, why did that? I suck.
No,
but the one thing
you do a lot of stream of consciousness stuff. You do, like you're great at crowd work, and you are quick.
Yeah.
But do you ever think, did that ever happen on the road where you go, oh wow, I think that was somebody else's joke?
No, but then again, it's like I shy. Like the stuff I do in my mind it's like just stuff I've been doing for so long. And one time I was at a show in Anchorage, quit bragging, and some guys like
Anchorage, Alaska.
And I've always said this. Some guys like, oh, you stole that. And I'm like, I want to know who did that joke. I've always said this. I'm like, I want to know who did that joke, because if you're stealing jokes, do you steal them from you, Artie, or do you steal them from me? Do you steal them from a guy like you?
No, it depends on if it's funny or not. It doesn't matter.
No, but my point is, it's like this happened when it's like it's easier to steal from a guy like me that headlines all over the country and shit gigs that no one's going to see on TV.
Well, what about the other way? Like, you had to be livid, and I felt bad for you when I saw this, because he got all the attention when Michael Richards stole your nigger bed.
I know, I was livid.
I mean, come on.
Well, he didn't say please at the end.
I said Geno Bisconte's been doing this for years. Never really, just when you have bets on football games, never on stage. And whenever I hear you do that, whenever I heard you do that alone, I'd say, you got to do that on stage.
First of all, I don't...
Yell out nigger 8 times.
First of all, I don't see color. I don't see colors, actually. There aren't any here, right? I couldn't see them if they were. I don't do a lot of... I'm not racist.
No one's going to steal that joke, which is good.
But no, but I was getting back to the one thing I do worry about when I hang out with like Levy. When I first started, I was like with Levy a lot.
Levy, there's a lot to worry about.
But it wasn't like I was stealing his bit, but I was becoming his mannerisms, because I was touring with them all. And
Levy?
Well, I was saying like fucker a lot, and like I gotta, and then I moved up.
That's the bit you stole, saying fucker?
No, I'm not saying you don't steal the bit.
Let me tell you
You
something.
start using guys' mannerisms.
You're right. When you hang out with someone funnier than you, which in your case is everyone in the world.
I mean, I'm stealing 3 things from your sis here.
No, Stacey's very funny, actually.
But
let me tell you something. You're right. When you hang out with someone funnier than you, you know what happens with the most is Dave Attell.
I was about to say, how many guys talk like Attell?
They start getting his cadence.
Oh, without
a lot of the newer kids, and you know who else? Norm. People take from Norm.
I can see that. Yeah, Hedberg was like that.
And Mitch Hedberg too didn't steal from Norm. People stole from him. I mean,
right.
But yeah, you're right.
That cadence you get. There's so many guys that talk like Attell now. It's like
that's always been.
But it's not. It's just. It's almost a reverence to it. It's like this guy, you watch him so much.
Yeah, but still, you don't want to.
No, you don't. But it's not stealing.
Yeah.
You know, it's just influence. You know, it's like a parlance almost.
Well, but then it'll affect your career in a bad way.
Oh, without a doubt.
Consider
people
it.
hear the cadence and think it's that.
They'll consider it stealing. Something that's an original Mike Bocchetti bit is yelling and screaming with Dan Filato, our producer. They got into a couple of classic fights over the years.
Yeah, well,
here's Dan had the audacity of bringing up Mike's family.
Oh no!
And he rubbed Mike the wrong way at our old show. And just listen to this.
I've been helping people to St. Jude's Children's Hospital since '91.
I'll prove it.
Bringing everything I've sent them.
I believe you. What are you talking about?
No, but I mean, it's not that I'm not charitable.
How much money have you sent to them?
I don't know. I mean, offhand, I send as much as I can.
We get in this argument all the time, and then I ask him the address, and
it's in Tennessee, Dan. So listen, buddy. Don't be going to my finances.
Dan,
you know what I mean? It's like I know what I send and what I don't send.
Dan claims you don't send anything to.
Well, how does he know? He don't live with me. I'm glad he doesn't. Believe me.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'd pay to see that too.
What is Dan? What is Dan stalking me? I mean, he's come on.
It is weird. You're right. Dan, he's right. What are you stalking him?
No, I'm not stalking him. It's just that every word that comes out of his mouth is a lie.
Okay, Pinocchio. Let's bring some of your stars from Chicago here, buddy. Man up already.
Don't piss Tubby Man.
Some of the people you said you're going to stars, you're going to bring here. Man up already, there, Pinocchio.
He's going to stink. He's going to stink you out.
Jeff Garland wasn't on the show last week. You tub of goo.
Who's out there?
Jeff Garland wasn't here last week. Was he? Your tub of goo?
Yeah, like you know him, Dan. All right, buddy. Let's pack it up a little bit, Dan. What do you know? He's like his barber started cousin sister or something. Dan, come on.
Don't worry.
See, this is what
don't worry. The ratings spiked when your mom and your brother were on.
Well, yeah,
that was our biggest watched show.
Dan, if you say one more thing about my family, I'm going to take you downstairs and give you a good one. But I'm serious, buddy. Don't mess with my family. Keep your effing mouth shut about my family, Dan. I'm serious.
Brian, last week,
keep your mouth shut about my family, Dan, because I will knock you the fuck out, man.
Last week, a joke that he wrote was, "I'm going to kick you in the butt so penises fall out."
Well, that's Dan's lifestyle. What can I say?
Stay away from the family. I told you.
Yeah. I told you, Dan, please.
I think you should take a
I never said nothing about your family, Dan. Just keep my family out of this.
All right. Well, I heard him say other stuff about your family.
It's not helping. Believe me, it's not helping me.
All right. Oh man. You got mad. See, but I think in Dan's defense, he wasn't insulting them. No, he just said they weren't ratings grabbers just because they're not famous. But
I just took it the wrong way.
It got vicious. Yeah. But you get the families. In your defense, Mike, families should not be brought up.
Yeah, I never.
Dan, that is horrible.
If I have a problem with somebody, it's just them. That's it.
Well, no, you might have a problem with someone's family. Now, as an Italian American, have you rethought your views on Al Capone? That was another argument we always had. One of your heroes is Al Capone.
Well,
I would say as an Italian, there's other like Mario Cuomo. I was upset when he died, and I tweeted out I was proud to be an Italian American with Mario Cuomo, but Al Capone probably not the same thing. Mike, your thoughts?
Well, there's a big difference. People said he was a nice guy, but that doesn't mean you're a good guy.
Explain what you just said, Mike.
Can I go take a nap?
No.
I thought you were.
No, he has been. I mean, what do you call it?
What's the difference?
Let it go, Pinocchio. Oh, wait, that's Dan.
What's a nice guy and a good guy? But it's the same thing.
I mean, nice. The devil could be nice and charming, like the devil. It doesn't mean you got a good heart.
So you mean nice to like lure you in?
Yeah, like that.
Like alluring, like a vamp, like a
like Swedish Pie, like he probably was.
Right. Okay. Again, the benefit we did the other night, all three of us were. I'm the only one nice enough to have done all three shows.
I was not asked.
It was a comedy club crawl, and started out at Stand Up New York, and then we went to the New York Comedy Club where I saw Mikey, and then we ended up both Stand Up New York and the New York Comedy Club were sold out, I believe, and then
Bronston hosted.
Then we go where Geno is hosting.
Here we go.
There were literally obviously it's not your fault, but there were 7 people at the Village Underground too, and it felt like it. You know what was cool about it was charming. It felt like an early gig. It felt like all of us were doing an early '90s gig. Geno's hosting. Todd Barry was there. Myself, Bobby Kelly.
Bobby Kelly had the line of the show. He's like, "It's dead." He's like, "I guess Parkinson is a 2-show benefit. It's a 2-show disease."
Well, again, and then Rick Shapiro, of course. I had to leave early. Well, I would died to see Rick Shapiro do a 7-person.
He's amazing.
How did he do? Was it fun?
He's great. He's like no one you've seen. Well, not like if you've never seen him do comedy, it's not like there's no one to compare him to.
No,
wouldn't you say?
He's mine. I know him 20 years, and he's
So
unbelievable.
people are like, oh, this guy is really gritty, or this guy's really raw. He's raw. He is what raw is. Whatever is about to come out.
He might get nude.
Yeah, he would do it.
He talks honestly about street hustling.
One time,
blowing guys or letting guys blow them.
One time I was doing a show with him years ago. This is how long ago it was back when Stand Up New York used to have a Thursday 1 a.m. show. That's how
they used to do prom shows there.
But I mean, it was actual like a late night. And two old women are talking, and he just snaps. He's like, what did he scream? Something like, he's like, come on, ladies. Like, I'm trying to work here. He's like, it's like you've never carried a dead hooker 30 yards while you're carrying her saying, tomorrow I'm going to quit heroin.
A dead hooker?
You never carried a dead hooker to a lake 30 yards screaming, tomorrow I'm going to quit heroin. Not that moment. It's like, tomorrow, this is it.
No, that's
and it was so raw. You could tell it wasn't like a bit. He was like having a flashback. I love this guy.
I worked with him last summer. Wait, so you think he killed a whore?
No, I think he just was doing heroin with her and she fucking died. I honestly believe that. And he's like, I gotta stop doing heroin. First I'm gonna do hers because she's dead. She's not gonna do it. And then tomorrow,
oh my God,
tomorrow it's all gonna turn around for Rick Shapiro.
No, but somebody's picking her about how he dressed one day. He goes, I can't help it. I ran on money in the 70s.
That's pretty great too.
He was really fun.
Again, sometimes he just blurts out, God, I miss cocaine. That's a segue. So I want to talk a little bit, you guys being comedians, one of my favorite people in the whole world, Norm Macdonald.
Brilliant.
Guy I did a movie with and a TV show. Guy wrote an article about how Norm is, making a big impact on Twitter. Norm, if you follow Norm on Twitter, he really is elegant, almost poetic. And a lot of times he doesn't try to be funny. He's trying to just be poignant. And he's a big hockey fan. But, again, people are finding out. Norm is one of the funniest guys ever. I think any comedian would say that. But he's also one of the smartest people I've ever met. Like, I don't think he's ever had his IQ checked, but Norm's one of those guys, if his IQ were 150 or 160, I would not be surprised. Wow. Like a real well-read guy. And, again, a lot of you guys ask me, why do I charge for the podcast? Why do I charge for the podcast? Well, you're getting crazy content, and I'm not going to edit the content for anybody. That's why... a lot of these podcasts, they say you could do whatever you want, but if you let somebody else buy the equipment and, the company that buys the equipment distributes you and they set up the PayPal, they pay for the website, and they have their own marketing people, and you have no overhead, they can tell you what to say and what not to say. If you have sponsors, you have censorship. So it's not uncensored. So I happen to be lucky enough to have had enough scratch in the bank to where I was able to buy my own equipment, set up a website that I paid to have designed myself, hire a staff, and a marketing guy to do all this. So I really have no one to answer to. So you can get crazy, like the rant I did in the beginning. There's a lot of shit I said in that, even working at Sirius, there's still a corporate place. You could curse, but even working for some podcast, you're working for people who set up corporations and they can tell you what to do. Norm has that. And Norm's video podcast, if you haven't seen it, he's great on Twitter. He's very poetic on Twitter, and it's worth following Norm. You can follow him at Norm Macdonald. That's his actual real verified name. But his video podcast is hilarious. Really, really great. Really interesting. And he's interviewed people like Sandler and Spade and Nick Swartzen, which is what this story's about. I'm supposed to do it, and I can't wait to do it soon. But, there's an article in some Canadian publication called the movie I did with him, a cult classic, which makes me feel old, first of all. But I like that they like that. Dirty Work. Cult classic, and I feel good for Norm and Frank Sebastiano and Fred Wolf who wrote that movie because it's funny. If you like Norm, you'll love it. But here's the problem with getting sponsors. Norm, who's the best when he's uncensored, has sponsors because he doesn't charge. But here's what happened. Right after the most disgusting off-color story from Nick Swartzen, who's a great comic, and I saw Norm's video podcast with Nick, and Nick was hilarious. He told an off-colored story, and I saw it. It was very off color.
was
But
the
that's
story?
why you get a podcast. All right? Okay. Basically, Norm, right after that story, went into a live read for a grill company called Mangrate. The advertiser didn't share Norm's sense of humor, and Daniel Kellison, the producer of Norm's show, said we had to pay them back. They had to pay back the sponsor. That's a nightmare. They had the money in the bank. Something happened on the fucking podcast that was hilarious, but they don't care. They're just like, we don't want to be involved with that, and they had to pay.
It's just amazing how in this day and age people are that like it's like when you do a dive comedy go and you go like I used to do. I'd be driving to some gig in Delaware. You get to Bob's Crab Shack and he's like, hey, here's the kind of comedy I want. It's like, what?
You can't
It's
do
like me
that.
sitting there saying, let me tell you how to make crab cakes. Same thing. It's like, I'm your sponsor. People are going to listen. The clean cut people that you're worried about offending are not listening.
No, it's you know
to
what
this
it's like.
show.
It's like the rock station that plays a little disco. You're not going to get the disco crowd,
But it's
and
amazing.
you're not going to win. And the rock people are going to get mad at this. They're going to lose every listener.
I just guess my point is, it's like, look, we do stand up. We don't pretend to know how to run a grill company. But these guys that run grill companies are so fucking cocky, obtuse, cocksucking dicks that they're like, let me tell you, I know how to run a grill company and I know how to tell jokes.
If you give Norm Macdonald or somebody like me money, and look, as long as you're not hurting anybody with your company physically or I'll take your money. I'll plug anything. But you know, and we had this problem even on Howard. As mainstream as Howard is, our material was crazy, and Howard would never change it for anybody. So we were taking money from a company called Sphincterine, which was ass mints. People who would put mints in their ass when they got their ass ate out. It was. You know, it smelled good.
What's the name of this grill company? Because I want to tweet out right.
Mangrate.
Mangrate. I'm gonna tweet out. I'm like, look, just got the new
Don't
Mangrate.
get me in trouble.
Just got the new Mangrate Auschwitz grill. Fantastic.
Oh, don't do that. Wait a minute.
Why?
Wait a minute.
Why? It's my Twitter.
Okay, well,
It's my Twitter.
No, but you're saying this on
All
here.
48
You know, he's
people.
like trying to crucify you here.
How am I crucifying him?
Change it to a lesser known.
Dan, he's crucifying him.
Change it to
He's
a lesser
nailing
known concentration.
Okay.
Make it Treblinka.
I didn't even know that one.
And I'm fine with it.
Spando Ballet.
You never heard of Treblinka?
I didn't.
Get up on your anti-Semitism. You know, I thought you know that.
I've been so focused on the Rosa Parks stuff that I've really let the Holocaust
By the way,
slide.
I pitched to Amy Poehler. I saw her recently. Rosa Parks and Recreation. I think we're going to get.
Can they do my coffee joke in
We're
there?
shooting a pilot.
Can they do the Rosa?
What
Parks?
is your coffee joke?
It's that one you always made fun of.
Rosa Perks.
The most. There's something about blend since Rosa Perks.
Rosa Perks. I enjoy it. Good luck doing that on the Tonight Show.
The what?
Now listen, Norm, one of the smartest, funniest guys. You give him your money, you might be off color. It's a video podcast. He should be allowed to do whatever he wants. But see, guys, I got to get the right sponsors. That's why I'm asking him for a little money up front until I can find those right sponsors. Bocchetti, your thoughts?
Well, as soon as I come into some cash, you'll be on. You know what I mean?
No, I don't. What are you saying?
Didn't he bring you into enough cash the past 3 years? What did you do with that?
Bocchetti, I've heard.
What did you invest that in?
I bought sweat jackets like this. It's
Bocchetti, I've heard.
Really? These
Are you
expensive.
overpaying for your trainer?
No, she's great.
His trainer's hot and funny.
I heard
Hey, she's married. She's a married woman too.
So
Don't
what? She's
stop.
still funny and hot.
Do you think you had a shot at her?
No, she's been a friend forever, and she's married. Her husband's
The old friend for
How much weight did you lose?
like 70 pounds at least.
What you do? You look
That's
great,
good.
man.
Dude, healthy.
Thanks.
Healthy
Feel
70
good.
pounds.
Get rid of some hostility.
You don't have as much of a blockhead.
No, it's like
Which
more
is
like
amazing.
an oval.
But can I make a suggestion? Your hair should be a little wider to cover your face. I have the same problem.
Oh yeah, and I cut
Your
it.
face looks like a globe. Your face is like a globe that was kicked out of the Marines.
They took the anchor off.
Now, have you ever had a homosexual act, Mike?
No.
Not even in the Army?
Oh, get off me, Jim.
What happened?
Are you Mike is very Italian, Staten Island homophobic.
Oh no. I mean, you know, no.
It's like Dan tries to be. Like, you know, you don't mess with him. Okay, we get it. You're heterosexual. We understand.
It's part of our heritage.
But if you're really
That's
heterosexual,
not part of
you
our
ever hear
heritage.
Doubt-
Stop it.
Doubt-
You make Italians look stupid when you say, "Oh, it's part of our heritage."
No, not in that way. But I mean, you know.
Talking about Staten Island.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
there
yeah.
you go. Then not
You ever
Italians.
hear that Doubt dust protests too much?
Oh yeah.
You understand?
Forgot the meat.
You know what that means?
It means you're probably guilty.
Right, exactly. If you keep saying no, it means yes.
How come we don't have a ding ding for that? He nailed it.
You're like,
Well,
you're like
Geno-
one of those
Not like you
strippers-
nailed one of them Staten Island queers, but you nailed that question, Mike.
You're Staten
It's
Island.
funny. Wait a minute. You do protest. You started mentioning.
I don't
names.
protest at all.
How
I'll
many
kiss
times-
anyone in here on the
That
lips right now.
reminds
Not your
me-
sister,
well, I've
Ken. That
said
was a long
yeah,
evening.
Don't even think of it.
No,
That's why. I want to let you kiss my sister's dog. I get pissed off. Listen, that's why. I love that movie, Blazing Saddles. That one of my favorite. Like you just Staten Island
City.
Queer. Oh my God! When he goes, I hired you men to get some crack laid, not to jump around like a bunch of Kansas City faggots.
That's one of the greatest.
The hell is a Kansas City?
The Camptown Lady.
Camptown Lady.
Doodar.
Come on, let's hear a good old fashioned nigger work song. Again, I'm quoting a movie before we get up in arms. And
I started doing some writing now. I got off my butt.
no, you didn't.
I did. I swear to God.
You stand up to write?
Yeah.
Online as well.
You said you got off your butt.
Yeah.
You stand up to write?
No, I just got off my butt and started writing some
What do you write?
I'm actually writing for a site called StuffDudesLike.com.
Stuffed dudes.
Oh, STUFF dudes like
Stuffed dudes.
I tell you what, Mike, you check your homophobic hat at the door because I've said this before on stage even. I'm very heterosexual, but I would fuck everyone in One Direction. Every one of those kids in One Direction, I would fuck. Geno, your thoughts?
Geno, I became a.
I cannot argue with you. That's a good looking. Those are some good looking kids. They could
also,
probably keep a secret.
Chicago Dan Filato. Would
And
you
you're in
fuck
biz.
the One Direction?
I also
I don't know who they are.
became a comedy food critic.
You became a comedy food critic.
What's comedy food? Like funny food?
No, like doing for a place called the Intro Bang.
Interrobang. It's not the
Interrobang.
intro bang. You forgot our friend, the letter E. And
what?
How
What are you
How do you
talking
grade him?
about?
Like in busted guts? I give this 4 busted guts.
Yeah,
You
what
know
is
me,
he
though.
talking about? What do you mean?
It's like a comedy website. It's a pretty cool place.
It's Ron and Fez, the Interrobang. They put Geno's Picks videos up all
I
year.
didn't know that.
Yeah, I started. I'm going to be the comedy food critic.
All right, well,
Now, when does that start?
I'm lining stuff up now, Gene. I'm not a lazy
You're
guy.
lining stuff
I
up
am.
now?
No.
What
don't
does
laugh.
that mean?
I'll be laughing at you one day. I'll invite you to my castle in the south of France one
Your
day.
castle in the south of France?
Mike, that's what you said to me the other day at the New York Comedy Club because I'm going to Artie.
No,
Artie, I'm like, first of all, you haven't left Staten Island yet. He's already trying to get out of Toad Hill Road.
I want you to tell me
before
one-
you get to fucking
I want
the
you to
south of France.
Tell me one city in the south of France.
Paris.
Wrong.
That's not the south of France.
That is central France.
I'll give you. I'll give you a hint. It's spelled exactly like an American word.
That tells him nothing. Bacon? Hot dog. See that?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Come on.
Oh, French fry. Oh no. wait.
Nice. Spelled like
Oh,
nice.
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 Okay.
Nice. It's near the. It's near
No, but-
Cinque Terre in Italy.
Okay, maybe I'll just go to change into the hills of Sicily then instead of.
There you go. There you go. Name one hill in Sicily.
Try to get off of Route 280.
Name one hill in
but
Sicily. Benny Hill. They just run around a lot there. While music plays.
Listen.
Thank you, Jen. Thanks, Flip.
If I were a sponsor after that joke, I would pull out of the.
Now, come on.
Not because it's
Benny
offensive.
Hill.
All right.
Let me explain what happened.
My point is, what I want to say is, I support my friend Norm Macdonald. I hope he doesn't censor the show because of these fucking, goddamn corporations. And listen, that's why, guys, I'm asking for $80 a year from you.
Oh, they're ridiculous.
Because I don't want anybody telling me what
No,
to do.
they shouldn't be like with someone like Norm. Don't they know his work? Don't they know what he's going to be?
Well,
you
no,
know what I
listen,
mean?
Norm can be clean. Norm's a real talented comic. I've seen him be clean in stand-up. He
kills on Letterman.
Weekend Update, he was clean. He doesn't have to be dirty, but I mean, like any other comic, except for a few, if you're uncensored, it's way better. Like, obviously, Chris Rock is a genius, but I'd much rather see him on HBO than NBC, Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely, because yeah.
What do you mean Susie Culber is a Sea Caucus 6?
She's not a 10.
Oh, I think she's hot.
A Sea Caucus. I find her to be a Sea Caucus.
Cameron Diaz is my lady.
No, but when
Cameron Diaz, if you like acne, she looks like Mike Wallace.
But when you're talking, who's the hottest chick? I find Culber very hot because she seems like she knows her sports. Not she's like one of these figureheads that just reads, the teleprompter.
I'm not talking about her sports knowledge. I'm talking about sex appeal.
But I'm saying that's what makes her sexy to me. She knows her sports.
Dude, I want to kiss you.
I'm not saying.
Thanks, Joe.
By that logic, you could fuck Jimmy the Greek for Christ.
You have a good singing voice, right?
Well, I mean, I got a gravelly. I have a gravelly
No,
voice.
but we should make his love song to Giada, and you'll get it. I'm telling you.
How about Giada? Sounds a little too much like Jihad now.
You met Giada on Fallon,
No,
and
I
then
think
she's
she-
divorced
no,
a
My
month
new
later.
bit, by the way, Jihad De Laurentiis.
No, you should sing.
Jihad at home.
You should just tag
Where she
Rosa
makes-
Parks and Rec with that.
She cooks all terrorist food.
I think you can get
Stuff
it.
that you can. She cooks ISIS cream.
It's
I
awesome.
think-
Mike can review that on the intro bang next week.
I think you can get her. I'm serious. She's hot.
I can't get.
Why not?
No, because she's too uptight.
Oh, really?
And
I saw the way she looked at you on Fallon.
Plus, I just called
Me
her
too.
Jihad De Laurentiis.
Well, she got a good sense
I want to
of humor.
work on that bit. Let's put Jihad De Laurentiis.
What's wrong with that? All right.
Let me tell you, first you take the paprika. Then what you do is you get in a holy war with the pepper. The paprika and the pepper in a holy war. This is Jihad De Laurentiis.
It gives you explosive gas.
Explosive gas. You see now you ruined it.
No, I'm trying to help. I thought we were spitballing.
No,
here.
you were spitballing.
Well, we'll get an Italian love song and have
spit
you sing it to her.
All right, turn Mike's microphone. Turn his microphone.
Doing great. He's trying. The kid's trying.
Let's play some voicemails for the guys. I know this will be like Mystery Science Theater 3000. We'll play some.
Do we have to guess who they're from?
But what? No, we'll usually.
Hey,
say.
Artie, you baby gorilla, you fat fucking asshole. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, buddy. Love the podcast. I just want to see what's up with Mike Bocchetti. Is he coming on the podcast anytime soon? I just wanted to put that out there.
That's you.
How about Rick from Bayside? Is he going to come in the studio? Maybe join you guys for sitting on the podcast for a few?
It's Rod from Bayside.
All right, bud. Just want to throw those out there. Bye.
Actually, I'm getting mad at this guy like I'm on the Tonight Show. He should know every reference. No, thank you for the kind words. Rod from Bayside, the phony phone call. Rod is currently, as always, working on new calls, and when he's ready, he'll call us. And Rod and his hot girlfriend.
Oh, she's beautiful.
She's very pretty.
I don't believe I met.
Very pretty. No, Rod from Bayside does our phony phone calls. He's really funny. His phone calls are very funny. Very funny. What else? Let them hear a Tan Filato real quick.
Hey there, Artie. This is Tan Filato calling you back because I heard that you requested I call you back. Tan Filato, that's obviously Dan Filato's gay ex-lover over here in Chicago.
Like, does he give his real name?
I just want to let you know I've been doing much better without Dan. I've been going out dating. I'm actually dating a Chicago bear right now, and not a guy from the NFL team. You know, they keep that fag football team. I'm dating a big hairy fat guy from Chicago. That's the real Chicago bear to me. I know Dan, that homo, might like watching guys play football on TV, but that's all bullshit. And Dan, like I said, the locks are changed, and don't come back here, Dan. I'm better without you. And once again, Artie, this here is Tan Filato, enjoying my freedom without that asshole Dan Filato. And Tan Filato for life. And Dan, I fucking hate you.
All right, that's enough. That's Dan. He's called in several times. Tan Filato. He claims to butt fuck Dan.
He's a friend on Twitter. I want to erase him, I think.
Is he a friend on Twitter?
Yeah,
don't erase him. We want to get. Well, he's a fan of the show. We want to perpetuate the show.
I know Dan wanted me to have him on there, so you know.
How many more phone calls we got?
We got a few. This guy's called Johnny on the shitter.
Okay, wait a minute. Wait. You know, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll finish out the voicemails. We'll take a break. These guys. We'll be back with Geno and Mike. You could hang around, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
You're like Bob Hope and Dean Martin from the Tonight Show days.
Yeah.
We're gonna come back and we're gonna play a few more voicemails and
talk a little football.
And I am gonna run by my lock of the week to Geno, and Geno's gonna give me his lock of the week. And Bocchetti will just sit there, hopefully quietly, while we do that. And we'll wrap it up when we come back on the Artie Quitter Podcast.
Boom. Listen.
Can't say that. I didn't. Well, I just did. Dan, she don't know. She don't know me from Adam.
Calm down. Okay, calm down.
Dan,
Don't get upset.
No, she's a. Well, that's what she is, though, Dan. I'm not saying sorry for it. That's what that whore is. I'm not apologizing, Dan. I'm not. For some three more times on me, I'm not apologizing.
All right, it's okay. It's okay, Mike. Take a deep breath and let's calm down. Okay?
No,
I know you're. It's not. Calm down.
Some drugged up whore from California. That mother's. I'm not apologizing. That stagger.
You don't want to apologize.
No, she's I'm sorry. No, I mean, she don't know me. Who the she didn't put me down and criticize me. She don't know me from Adam. She don't.
From Adam.
She don't know about me. That she don't know me. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm just like, I'm tired of people judging me that don't know me.
Yeah, they don't. Don't worry. First of all, I love that, but we can't even have that uncensored.
That's the one.
That's the one. Oh, God.
Is it?
We're not censored now, but it's funny bleep too. But Mike, you really let some woman. I'll give you the setup at DirecTV show. Woman called up and I don't know what she said to set off Mike. Said something where like
I remember what it was. Mike was talking about moving out to California.
Yeah.
He often talked about the allure of the West Coast, and
the allure.
He said that the housing would be cheaper in Los Angeles. So a woman called up and said, "Mike, you're delusional."
Delusional, and you lost it on delusional. Why did the word delusional get you so mad?
Just the way she
that
said it.
rant you just heard was Mike yelling at a caller for calling him, not even in a mad yelling way, delusional. Bocchetti, explain
It's
yourself.
just the way people say it or address it to you.
I heard how she said it. She said you're being delusional.
And that was all off air. That was recorded after the show.
Oh
actually
yeah,
gone
I
off
lost.
the air.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because James had the thing running that day.
That day, we recorded every show, Mike.
No.
That was the day they recorded. You weren't just hanging out.
No.
Yeah, you guys fooled me. That's the day you hit record.
No. I'm saying off air. I had that rant, not on TV.
It's the day you hit record.
I could see everything because of the red light that time.
But by the way, Mike, your anti-Semitic views. Like, remember they wouldn't let you say juleps. He said juleps.
Juleps. Maybe he meant the mint juleps.
Well, he did.
That the colored people like.
He did.
See what I did?
That's what. See, now you're gonna get us off air. By me, as the boss, I'm kicking you off. No, we were talking. He was trying to be a Southern gentleman, and do your Southern accent. Mike does great
I
accents.
said, what do you call it? Hey there, Artie, I want some juleps.
Right. He said mint juleps, and he went juleps. He didn't make it one word. He made it two, and I feel that Mike, vehemently denied this. But I feel it's Bocchetti as a character, a catharsis going through him, his anti-Semitism coming out through
Processes,
through
yeah.
Oh no.
the
I love
character.
Jewish people. They're cool.
Oh, stop it.
Name two.
My
Jewish
cousins are
people.
half Jewish. Half Italian.
Really?
Name two full Jewish people you like.
Norman Lear, who's brilliant.
Who you know.
Oh, who I know.
Yes, that you would associate with, not that you would ask for work.
Not someone who you think has Jew lips.
Yeah.
Oh no, did they have to? They're not in comedy or acting.
Let me guess, they both
no.
live in the south of France?
Yeah. They live right next to
Right
Napoleon's.
outside of Paris.
Right next to Napoleon's tombstone.
You like that town in South Jersey, Teaneck, as well?
Yeah, it's pretty
That's saying
cool.
the same thing. So listen, Jew lips is not something you're denying that you're anti-Semitism is coming out through a character.
I'm pro-Semite.
You're I think that's anti-Semitic saying pro-Semite.
Exactly. Doesn't make any sense.
There's only a couple pro-Semites now, right?
doesn't make
Who was the last really good pro-Semite?
I think Jim Brown.
I was going to say
Listen,
Koufax. I don't know.
So we came out of the commercial with that. That was a nice move. Nice. Bochetti's
played.
angry phone call. Let's play, before we get to our NFL picks and wrapping this baby up, let's play some more choice phone call, a couple more voicemails.
Artie Quitter, what's up? It's Johnny on the shitter. I'm dropping a deuce, and I got a few comments.
Boston guy.
Saw you in Wilbur Theater in Boston. Fantastic job. You look like you lost a lot of weight.
Thank you.
Mooch. Anyway, big Howard fan, but been following you since day one. We're a lot alike, my girlfriend sad to say. Like I said, I'm dropping a Duke, and I'd like to say I'll take Seattle -11 for
That's a winner.
300
That was my lock.
because of your lock.
Nice.
And I got a lot of comment, but I'm going to be wiping right now.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll try back. See you, bud.
Johnny on the shitter. Johnny on the shitter.
So he's really committed to that. He literally calls only when he's on the shitter.
Yeah, all the time. Well, that's first of all, I remember this guy. I think he shit during my show at the Wilbur. At the Wilbur. Boston crowd. Danny was there. I tell you, Dan, that Wilbur crowd rivaled only by the Park West in Chicago. Your thoughts?
It was amazing.
Yeah, no, I tell you, I'm kind of like Boston, man. Those Red Sox fans, those motherfuckers, they're good to me up there. They're good. Did you ever play the Park West in Chicago?
No.
What a fucking great place that is. I played that too. That was a wonderful crowd and a wonderful town.
They just opened a Laugh Factory out there.
They did?
Yeah, it's great.
I'm sure Tan Filato will be there.
It's great. Like you just go and you can last minute just drop in and do a week. Like I like that because I don't do zanies much.
The Fag Factory. Laugh Factory, Fag Factory with Tan Filato.
I had a good time in the Chicago Festival, Comedy Festival. That was fun.
Did you do well there?
Yeah.
Did you get some Italian brats?
No, we went to a place called Topo Gigio's. It was awesome.
What?
You mean like the puppet, like the hand puppet, Topo Gigio?
I think it was
Dan. You know Topo Gigio? Dan's Chicago. Dan Filato.
Yeah, it's right around the corner from Second City.
Is it good?
It's all right.
Oh, wow.
Oh, excuse me.
Bocchetti, your favorite Italian restaurant's Olive Garden in New York, right?
Oh no, I'd rather be. Oh no.
What do you like?
Macaroni grill he likes.
Well, currently there's a bunch of plates and forks under your bed in the attic.
Oh no, they're clean.
Bread's the enemy.
How often? I know.
Bread is the enemy, Artie.
You were there that night, right?
It is the enemy.
Comedy Cellar. We're at the Comedy Cellar. Mike at the time was 400 pounds, and he's saying Artie, bread's the enemy, and it's like 2 a.m, and we're watching Mike use his finger to sop up a salad, like he's using his finger as bread. Artie, bread's the enemy, and you almost ate your finger. You almost ate your finger.
Oh, I had goat cheese on it. That's why I love goat cheese.
Yeah, you gotta love the goat cheese. Goat cheese is the Switzerland
it should
of food.
be the enemy. Yeah, this Swiss cheese, goat cheese, hinder. But don't you think that everything's the enemy at this point?
Well, you know what it is. It's changing your thought process. That's the whole thing.
Really, Joel Osteen?
What have you changed?
Tell me more.
Yeah, what have you changed?
No, it's because like.
Let's go to the next voicemail.
Artie, Johnny on the shitter.
This guy again?
I just let you have it. Looks like you've had enough, buddy. Slow it down. About that lock you gave on Seattle. I did a little research. You might want to call me back on this one.
You might want to call
Johnny on the shitter out.
Yeah, I'll get right back to you, John. I'll call you right back. You got a phone in the shitter? First of all, it came in. He's calling before the game. It came in. It wasn't what I thought it'd be. I thought they'd win by 35 points, but they covered, winning by 14. Bocchetti, your thoughts?
I only do scratch-off lottery tickets. I really don't know much about the game.
That's the thought I was looking for. You're not a football guy at all?
Baseball. I love Mets. They're going to come back one day.
But you can't name a Met.
Retired ones, yeah.
Name a Met who's played since 1985.
Okay, wait, Steven, no, that's Israel.
Bobby Bonilla, he's still on the payroll.
Don't give him a fucking answer.
I know, he tried.
You know why he did
He
that?
was going to get Bonilla?
Here's how pathetic Bocchetti is. No, but what's your name?
I was about to, I'm like, Bisconte's pathetic, not Bocchetti.
Here's how pathetic Bisconte is. He couldn't let you answer. The only reason he said the answer was not because he wanted he wanted to say that joke.
That wasn't a joke. He's still on the payroll.
What was the line you said? Yeah, right. That is.
I said, Bonilla, he's
you
still on the
want to make
payroll.
the joke? He's still on the payroll.
If you went up to someone on the street and said, Bobby Bonilla is still on the Mets payroll, is that a joke?
Let's
no,
go.
it's
Well, how would
back
you
to the
say
shit.
it?
No, but Artie's right. If we were in the Godfather, Geno would be testing you out.
Next phone call.
Hey there, Artie. This is the Uber calling up north here. Just wondering if you've got any plans tonight for the fish fry, or go get a box of beer at the store, or
does he talk like that?
Go fishing for some girls, or maybe find some girls at the 4-H club. Just calling to see if you and maybe Mike Bocchetti would like to go down to hunting camp and bag us a buck. If you have any plans, give me a call, and we'll get a box of beer for you. Goodbye, Artie the Uber.
That's got to be Christopher Guest doing a character.
That's pretty good.
That's how brilliant. That was the most brilliant accent I've ever. That was terrible.
He's trying to do an Upper Wisconsin, Michigan.
Yeah, he's trying to do that. Yeah, we're going to Lake Buenaventura.
That's
we're going to
Fargo,
Lake Buenaventura
right?
ice fishing. Hey, Mike, teach this guy about accents. Geno, I don't know. Have you ever heard? Do your English accent. I mean, this is like incredible.
Hello, Dan. It's good to be back because I miss Danny because we had a lot of scuffles in the old days. But I seen him and I'm like, he loves doggies like I do, and we just blended again. And hello, Arthur, because that hat looks fabulous on you. You look great, and I'm here next to James.
I mean, it's like you close your eyes, and it's as if an English person's here with you.
I thought it was at high tea.
I feel like I'm. I feel like I'm at Oxford.
But then there's this Bisconte character because he's all over me all the time like a cheap suit because I don't know why.
Why do you say because all the time? What is that?
I don't know. It's part of Staten Island.
It's part of your genius?
Yeah, I don't know, but Geno, stop it, because behave, Geno. Stop interrupting Arthur and
I feel like we're watching The Queen on the movie channel.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dad.
It's amazing how you go in and out, like, perfectly.
It's like the King's Speech without the speech.
You were just, like, you were just...
Listen, I talk better as a Brit than I do as an American.
You went from Colin Firth to Colin Quinn in 2 seconds.
No, but I do sound better as a Brit than an American.
Do an English accent when you talk to the dogs.
Hello, puppy. come on, baby, let's play with. I'll give you the bone. It's like, we're playing.
I'm
come
so
on,
creeped
puppy.
out right
I'll
now.
give you some sausages and we'll behave and have a good time and watch TV.
By sausages. Oh, there you go. There's the English. Do you think
Well, long live the Queen. No.
You're the only person that can make those guards at Buckingham Palace laugh. I really think you're the only one.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. Maybe, I don't know.
By doing your English accent.
Make them, because James is a good guy. Because now the Queen, King Edward VIII, now, Wallace Simpson, oh, no. I forgot, Wallace Simpson.
Don't look at me, you're in the middle of
Oh, yes,
bit.
that's right, because King Edward, he
Visconti's ready to kill
He left the throne because of that skank, what's her name? Wallace.
Skank?
Yes, Arthur.
They don't say skank.
Well, maybe a skankosaurus.
You're doing a Cockney dialect.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, in the movie about Jimi Hendrix, starring Andre 3000, which I have to recommend, Andre 3000 is great as Jimi Hendrix in that movie. The movie suffers because they didn't have any Hendrix music. They couldn't get the rights to it. But God, is he good in it. Really good. And who directed that? It was a big-time director. Was it Linklater? I forget who directed it.
Did you see that Linklater thing with the
boy?
Yeah.
Haven't seen it yet.
I haven't either,
Did
but
they talk
everyone's
about
talking
Jimmy being a
about it.
paratrooper?
What'd you say?
Jimmy was in the military.
Jimmy, what you know him by?
Hendrix.
You're like a good friend of his, Jimmy.
No, Jimi Hendrix
They
was a
talk about
paratrooper.
Jimmy being a paratrooper. I mean, you talk about him like he's your cousin.
No, I wish he would have been. He was awesome.
He parachuted in with that information.
No, he was. You can look it up online. He was definitely.
Why would I do that when I've got gambling lines online and pornography?
Why would I do it when I have you?
Yeah, exactly. I'm
A
sitting there, do I
human
want to look at
computer.
porn? Do I want to
No,
get the line on the
Jimi
weekend
Hendrix
games, or
was
do
a
I want to see if
was a
Jimi Hendrix
paratrooper.
ever jumped out of a plane?
I know he was in the military.
Yeah, paratroopers. Jimmy was a badass.
John Ridley did it.
John Ridley. Good director, but again, with the music, would have been a way better movie. But anyway, in that movie is the English Mike Bocchetti.
Really?
We're gonna find them. You know what? We're gonna find them. I'm gonna go. Let's take a quick break. I'm gonna take a quick. We'll come right back. I want to find him so we can react on the air. I'm gonna find the English Mike Bocchetti, and we'll come back. When we come back, we're gonna go. We're gonna react to the English Mike Bocchetti.
Oh, no.
Very exciting.
And then we're gonna do football picks and wrap
Very
it up.
exciting.
And wrap it up.
English Mike Bocchetti.
No, but he should. I think he was born in Seattle, right, Artie?
Back to the
It's a
Artie
review.
Quitter
A business
podcast.
review.
Geno and Stacey, of course, doing their own show. No, back to the Artie Quitter podcast. And real quick, I just wanted to say, I found in the Jimi Hendrix movie, called Jimmy All By My Side, I think is the name of it. Anyway, the guy from Outkast, Andre 3000, plays Jimi Hendrix in the movie. And I got to give the movie a plug. The movie's not amazing, and basically because they couldn't get the rights to Jimi Hendrix's fucking music. How do you do a Jimi Hendrix movie without the rights to the music? The whole movie leads up to his life before he goes to the Monterey Pop Festival, which is where he killed it and became a star. But there's no payoff in the movie because they can't play his appearance. It's like at the end, it's like The Godfather with no ending. It's called All Is By My Side. Jimi Hendrix, All Is By My Side. Now, Danny, explain why they couldn't get the music. It wasn't because they couldn't afford it. Directed by a guy named John Ridley, by the way. A great director. He did a good job. Explain it.
The Hendrix estate would not let him have the rights to the music because they are warring between the mother and the father. No, not the father, because I think the father's dead. But he has
Mother's
cousins.
dead.
It's the cousins, and they're all warring over his estate.
Right. A brother or sister, too, might be involved.
And they
or a
did not-
wife.
Right. And
Yeah.
they would not let him have the rights to the music.
That's so I would have delayed it because you needed that bad, but he had to make the movie without the rights to the music. And basically, he goes to London, though, which is where Jimi Hendrix really made a name for himself. And there's a scene where they have a cock. They want to show what the music scene was over there compared to Hendrix. They have a guy, a real bad English teeth, doing Cockney music, which is a type of dialect over there. And Geno, tell me if there's not the English Mike Bocchetti. Look at him. Mike, that is, and we're tweeting.
With slightly better teeth.
Go to artiequitter.com, and you'll see the English Mike Bocchetti.
Wow.
Mike, your thought?
Why don't we have Mike stand right in front of the TV and take a picture because they could be side by side?
Do that, Mike.
It's the same thing.
Try to smile.
Yeah.
No, I don't have better teeth.
Who do you think has worse
You have
teeth?
better teeth than this guy, Mike.
Mike, you have terrible teeth.
Look at this. I bet that guy doesn't eat bread either, Mike. No, Mike, why don't you stand on that side? It'll look like you're both on the TV.
Mike, you're in front of the TV. No,
Mike, we didn't say he looked like your tits, Mike.
Jake.
Wait.
Jake, turn this off.
What? Turn what off?
My mic.
Oh, your mic. Okay, go ahead.
Is that good, guys? Just this angle?
Why don't you
Dan, try to pose them. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
get a little lower and put on a hat?
No, we don't need a hat.
You don't need a hat.
Geno's directing now. Just calm the fuck down.
I'm trying to help. I'm smart.
Mike, work with Dan here. Come on. Just try to smile with your awful Staten Island teeth.
Okay.
That's good. That's perfect. That's perfect.
That's amazeballs.
Let me see it there. Okay, go to artiequitter.com and you'll see the side by that. If that ain't the English Mike
amazing.
Bocchetti, you can sit down now, Bocchetti.
Okay, thank you.
We don't want you to do too much cardiovascular. That's perfect.
Let me see. That's hilarious. Please
Perfect.
tweet that
That's
immediately.
perfect. Good job. Okay, so artiequitter.com, you can see the English Mike Bocchetti. By the way, during the commercial, Dan doing more dog talk.
That was cool. I loved it. He loves animals.
I hate to say this. I really feel Dan's had sex with some of the dogs.
No, he just loves
Why do you
animals.
hate to say it?
Okay, listen, let me tell you. He's like, Vinny, can you poo? Can Vinny poo? Is it tough to poo with Uncle Dan's cock in your ass?
No, but
Uncle Dan's cock is in your ass, Vinny.
Maybe he's not saying poo. Maybe he's calling him Vinny Poo. It's a
Vinny
pet
Pooh,
name.
Vinny the Pooh, Vinny the Pooh.
Hey, Vinny Pooh. Hey, Vinny Pooh. Vinny Pooh. Vinny Pooh.
Vinny the Pooh. Should Uncle Dan take his cock and balls out of your ass?
Vinny Pooh.
Maybe then you can poo.
Jack says you got a great big cock.
One is a command, one is a pet name. Vinny
was that?
Pooh. Vinny Pooh.
That's from Boogie Nights.
Say it again.
Jack says you got a great big cock.
Vinny the Pooh. Hi, I'm calling you Vinny the Pooh because you can't poo with Uncle Dan's cock in your ass.
True story.
Vinny the Poodle. Vinny the Pooh Poodle.
Yeah, but then, anybody who loves animals is a good. That's how you know you like a good friend.
I believe Mark Twain said that.
You know, loved animals. Hitler. He loved dogs. He did, and Hitler is famous for saying he liked dogs better than people.
I don't know. Well, I think Bugsy Siegel said that. He might.
There were no dogs in the ovens at Auschwitz. Put it that way. Unfortunately, that fucking jerk off like dogs. German Shepherds, you love them. He sounds like you. You love Capone and Hitler. Well, some role model you are for the kids.
Well, I admired Capone's work ethic. Listen, I mean
you admire his work.
His work ethic.
His work ethic.
It's ethic.
His work ethic.
No. What I'm saying is like
what about Mario Cuomo?
Well, who knows how he could have been now? You know what I mean?
You never expanded on the work ethic.
I don't know. You're right. Politicians, you never know. I doubt he ever beat someone to death with a baseball bat.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, lazy.
I doubt exactly.
Lazy.
No, but what I'm saying, but
his work ethic.
If Al was a legitimate business,
Al and Jimmy, your first name baseball.
No, but Al Capone was baptized in the basement of the church in my neighborhood, St. Mary's Star of the Sea in Brooklyn.
Welcome to the Who Gives
Garfield.
a Shit channel.
It's a big thing. That's what they say.
What's a big thing? What? Say it again.
It's just it's not important. But
Vinny the Pooh.
Thank you.
Garfield
Thanks for getting
Street,
me out of
right?
there.
You know, Garfield Street is where he's from, in Brooklyn, I think. Right?
I did not know.
You fucking did a lot of research on this.
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. I mean, but the thing is, if he would have been a smart, legitimate guy, he would have been Lee Iacocca.
Are we talking about Hitler now or Capone?
This is his favorite. He would have been Lee Iacocca. Dude, just say Lee Iacocca. Guess who is Lee Iacocca? Lee Iacocca.
Yeah, he would have.
And he's Italian. Be happy with him.
That's who you compare. He would have been Lee Iacocca.
No, he would have been.
But
he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
No, he would have been the head of a company.
Where
like
do you
that.
put Lee Iacocca of all the Italian? Lee
Because he's
Iacocca.
saying Lee Iacocca. That's a name you heard on a commercial years ago.
No, I know
and
he
he's
is.
spitting it back at
He
him.
was like,
What company was he the head of?
Chrysler.
Okay. And what is he famous for doing?
He was the chairman of Chrysler for a long time.
What did he do though? He's famous for a specific thing. Lee Iacocca.
It might have been a certain car he had.
No,
it wasn't the
No, he's not
Duran.
famous for the car. Yeah, that's
I actually know
Fonzie.
this, but I can't remember.
That's Fonzie. That's Arthur.
Oh, he married
Fonzarelli.
some supermodel.
No. I don't even know what it is.
He turned Chrysler around.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Business-wise. He's credited for saving a lot of jobs. Oh, come on, whatever. Jesus Christ. Don't say it without fucking knowing.
Well, I know
So
he's
you're saying Al Capone could have been a guy you know nothing about?
Yeah, exactly. Geno's right.
Yeah, but I know a lot about Al. I mean, you know.
There's a bunch of Italians in this room, and you're giving us all a bad name.
I would have said he could have been the next Arthur Lange.
Yeah, but how do you? But he was also very.
My name is not Italian. A lot of people think it is. I like
Caprio, though.
Well, my mother is.
You're
full
like
of-
90% Italian.
My
right?
mother's full of. No, my old man was all. Well, he was at least part German, but my father was from Newark. We don't know much about his heritage, except he was German.
My grandmother's
a little
name-
Hungarian.
My
And-
grandmother's maiden name was Caprio. I always tell you that.
Really?
You never told
Honestly,
me that.
My grandmother's maiden name was Caprio. They're from up there.
From where? From what street?
Oh, I don't know. We have a lot of relatives in Nutley. Honest to God. Well, we did. They're all dead now.
Well, we have relatives, not because Caprios, but they moved there.
But it's a common name.
Very common.
Very common.
Very common. It's
like Iacocca.
Caprio from North Newark. Lee Iacocca.
He could have been the next Lee Iacocca.
Lee Iacocca. I tell you what.
I don't know where he pulled that from. That amazes
Can
me.
Vinny the Pooh Pooh with Uncle Dan's Pooh Pooh and his Pooh Pooh? Hey, listen? He
invented the Ford Fairlane.
Is Uncle Dan's penis in your pooper? Take your penis out of my pooper.
James, that's like from Clarence from It's a Wonderful Life.
Super duper, I love your pooper. Super duper, I love your pooper. All right, let's get serious for a second.
No, this is more fun.
If I could bring the room down a little bit. All right, now we're going to wrap it up with my lock of the week because I gave my lock of the week last week and people won money. I feel like Nancy Grace. Bombshell tonight. Bombshell tonight. Johann Van Gundersloot kills another woman. Yeah! In South America. Is he going to get away with it? Yeah! Not if Nancy Grace has anything to say about it. Bombshell tonight. Van Gundersloot. You can run, but you can't hide from Nancy Grace. You've just entered the spin zone. Or the no spin zone. This is Bombshell tonight. Bombshell tonight. Big picks. Lock of the week. Bombshell tonight. Here's my lock of the week. We're going to go with just football, just pro football.
What else is there?
Oh, hoops, a lot of hoops. A lot of basketball.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. That's all people care about.
We're going
That's
to go
what
with
they
two
want.
games. We're going to Seattle Packers. It's in Seattle. Last line I saw was Seattle minus 7.5. Touchdown with a hook. Touchdown, extra point hook. I don't
7.5 and 6.
Don't like the hook. The number was 46.5. Under over 46.5 in that game. Here we go. Pats, Colts. Pats in New England, minus 7, the number, 53.5, under over. Okay, here's my lock of the week.
Love this.
Then I'll go to Geno.
I love this.
Here's my lock of the week.
Take your time.
My lock of the week, I went with one of the lines last week with the minus 11, and that came in not as easily as I thought, but it came in. Bombshell tonight. Nancy Grace. Bombshell tonight. Okay. Over in the Seattle fucking Packers game. I like the over. I know Seattle's got a great defense.
It's dangerous.
I know Aaron Rodgers seems to be hurt, but he rises to the occasion. I like both their offenses. I'm going to root for both of those O's big. I am putting 5 motherfucking dimes on the over in the Packers-Seattle game at 46 and a hook. That is my lock. Geno, your thoughts?
If I were the book, would say, okay, Artie, let me put that in for you. Then I would hold that.
Then I'm going to buy a boat.
Motherfucker.
Then I'm going to buy a boat.
Because I will tell
Would you like me to put my 5,000 in with you? Jerk off. I won't jerk off.
I'm done talking.
Yeah.
My ball's just going to.
That reminds me of the Michael Jordan quote when a director at a commercial, they're playing closest to the pin. The director said, you want to make it interesting and gamble on this next closest to the pin. And Jordan looked at him dead serious and said, whatever scares you, man. Geno, whatever scares you.
Here's what do I know? Daddy's just 62% against the spread this year with his picks.
If you call yourself daddy again, you're getting thrown out and never coming back.
All right. What do I know? Lee Iacocca right here is
The
only
thing creepier than Bocchetti saying the shit about the cuckoo and the chit-chit with the dogs in the white van.
In the windowless white van.
And Dan asking a dog if he can fucking poo is you saying daddy about yourself in the third fucking person.
Creepy. It's creepy.
Okay, go ahead.
60% against the spread this year with Geno's picks. Best year ever. 43 and 29.
I'm going to amend what I just said. If you refer yourself at all in the third person again.
I said I was.
Yeah.
All right, look, I don't like. I like the under in this. I like Seattle.
You like the under in Seattle? Why?
I don't normally take the under.
Pack because of Rodgers' injury or Seattle's defense? A combination of both.
Everything. These guys played the opening week of the season. Okay.
Convince me, dude.
Okay.
Change my mind.
Here's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to.
Change my motherfucking mind.
When they played the opening week of the season, Seattle killed them. And Seattle wasn't nearly as good then, and Green Bay was better then because Green Bay was completely healthy. Both of them changed their offensive strategy as the year went on. Seattle started the year saying, we have to get the ball to Percy Harvin because he did so well in the Super Bowl. And then halfway through the season, they realized, no, we don't. We got all the way to the Super Bowl without Percy Harvin, and we've got to stop trying to force him the ball. They stopped. And then suddenly Seattle won 7 of their last 9 or whatever. They're an amazing team, and their defense hit their stride because when the offense plays well, the defense plays more confidently because they have a leader in what's his name? Oh, yeah, Russell effing Wilson, who walked into a locker room last year and said, why not us? And the guys bit immediately. Yes, Aaron Rodgers is a great leader, but there's a big difference between playing the Dallas defense in Green Bay and the Seattle defense in Seattle.
Bombshell
where
tonight.
Russell Wilson has won 27 of his 29 starts there.
Okay, but I'm talking about overs. I'm talking about
I'm
you're
saying-
arguing offense. That's the great thing about the over.
I am
I'm
arguing-
a fan of whoever's got the football.
I agree.
what's great
But
about
what
the
I'm
over.
saying is
Bombshell tonight.
ball control, less change of possession. Russell Wilson controls the game, and I think this is going to be Seattle. My lock would be Seattle laying the points, and I'm just saying I would shy away from the over on that because I honestly think there's not going to be a lot of scoring once Seattle gets
So
going.
you don't like the Pats game at all?
No, I pick every game, and my video will be out today.
But your lock is...
I am in love with Seattle in that game. They're harder to beat at home at
Then
this
why
point than
don't you
Janae Rice.
fucking marry it.
What's that? And I love Indy getting the points, but I'm not that. If I had to pick a lock, it would be Seattle.
Okay.
And I'm a
Bombshell tonight. Geno's lock.
I went 3-1 last week. If a stupid tight end can catch a 2-point conversion, 4-0.
Yeah, the fucking yeah. Okay,
All right, I'll shut up.
And the Bears went 15-1 and 85. Nobody cares about what happened last week.
Well.
Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Should have called me.
Okay, your lock, your lock of the week is Seattle given 7.
Yeah, 7.5.
Seattle minus 7 and a hook.
Right.
And I like the over in that same game at 46.5. Both of us not touching.
And I shouldn't say I love the under, but the over scares me. I would like to amend it to the
I
over
like-
scare. And I never pick over unders. They terrify me.
Nobody wants your amendment.
Okay.
I like the over. Mike, based on what we said, do you have an opinion on anything?
I'm neutral on
Bombshell tonight. Flippin', you want to give a lock? Because no one... Dan and Flippin', I'll let you give a lock. If you have one. Don't just make one up just to say it. Because no one else is here. And Geno basically was bombastic and very breathy in that last segment. I want to try to say...
I apologize.
I'm just going to say I agree with Geno on the Colts covering. I think that they're gonna cover that. I
Enough
think,
to say it's a lock.
Yeah. I really think that's going to be a very
Colts
close game.
covering.
Remember this name. I was talking to Flippin' during one of the breaks. Dwayne Allen. Because everyone knows the tight end. Andrew
You played
Luck.
lead guitar in Layla.
There you go. Everyone knows Colby Fleener, but he's a receiving tight end. Dwayne Allen came back, and now suddenly it's not a big deal that they don't have Bradshaw or Richardson.
Bombshell tonight.
Because Daniel Boom Herron, as long as he doesn't fumble.
And former Giant Hakeem Nicks starting to come on as well for them.
Who?
Hakeem Nicks.
Hakeem Nicks
Oh,
is a
Hakeem.
good player.
I like Hakeem. I'm just not so. But I agree. You're right.
I mean, he's starting to be a factor for them. It's a former first round
Flippin'
pick.
likes the Colts.
Out of NC.
Flippin' likes the Colts plus 7.
6 now. It's down to 6.
Is it really?
The last I saw.
Does that affect you at all?
I thought it was 7, but
I
I'll
go
take
by
the 6.
scoresandodds.com. There's 900 lines.
Colts plus 6. I'm going with the Daily News and the Post.
Oh, then you're right. That's probably
You
sharper.
never know. Okay, well, let's make it 7. Let's make it 6.5. We'll cut it. So you like the Colts plus 6.5. Bombshell tonight. That's flipping. Geno Bisconte. I'll go last because I'm a gentleman. It's my podcast.
God bless you.
You like Seattle minus 7 and a hook. I like the over. Artie's lock is the over. Seattle game. Packers, and that's 46 and a hook. Danny Filato, you got a lock or don't you care?
John Fox, new coach.
I'm going with the Pats.
As a lock?
Yes.
It's not a bad bet.
Right up against your boy here. So Filato's lock is Pats minus 6.5.
It's 4 different locks, though.
That's good. That's big. Stacey, you want to throw something out? Does Vinny have a pick? Vinny, do you have a pick? Vinny, get over here, Vinny. Do you want to poo out a pick?
Poor Vinny.
Vinny is pooing out a pick.
Poor Vin.
He's a good sport.
Vinny shit pigs. I love you, Vinny. If you take a leak on my floor, Vin, you're going over the terrace. We're throwing a milk bone over the fucking balcony.
It'd be like something about Mary. Remember the dog jumped out the window?
My favorite part of the film. Besides Ben Stiller getting deemed as the king of comedy because a makeup woman put cum on his ear.
It is brilliant.
Bombshell tonight. Mike Bocchetti, no picks on anything at all.
I heard Geno's really good at this.
You know, I would change my pick of hairstylists if I were you. Jesus Christ. All right, well, listen, this has been a fun time. Thank you for allowing me to get a little poignant with the first segment.
I thought that was brilliant.
Geno and Mike, you guys are always great. Funny, you guys got
so much
open
fun.
invites unless someone funnier is here. You
So never. We're not allowed.
Funnier or more famous, which really... we might not see a lot of you. But,
nice try.
I love the two of you. Geno,
Thank you, Artie.
Oh, I love hanging out.
Geno's
with
a
you guys.
brilliant comic. Again, Geno proved the other night. I work with Geno. The great thing about being with all these experienced comics with 7 people in the crowd for a Rick Shapiro benefit, we all just had fun. Everyone abandoned material. And, Geno, brilliant as always as the MC. Bobby Kelly, Todd Barry, myself, Judah Friedlander, real funny. Everybody, and of course Rick. Everybody just fucking around. There was a band who for some reason gave out their name. Ravens and Chimes in the crowd. And I want to say, they tweeted me, we fucked with them. They had a great sense of humor, Ravens and Chimes. And look, you know what? Go see Ravens and Chimes. I'm going to plug them. Ravens and Chimes. Check out that band. Because they have a good sense of humor. At least I don't know if they can play a lick. But so thank you, Geno.
Thanks for having me,
any
man.
plugs?
Just follow Geno's picks. Go to my website, genobisconte.com. It has my videos and all that. My Geno's picks, which are 60% on the spread and 72% in the postseason the past 2 seasons.
genobisconte.com. Bocchetti, what do you want to plug?
Just stuffdudeslike.com.
Dude, it sounds like you're saying stuffed dude.
Oh, STUFFDUDES.com. And
I spelled it right. That's amazing.
Bombshell tonight.
On the intro bang, I'll be there.
The what bang?
IBANG.
Are you saying comedy bang bang?
No.
Interrobang.
Interrobang, sorry.
Nailed it.
Bombshell tonight. All right. Once again.
Where will you be, Artie?
Well, I'm going to be at the Borgata Valentine's Day. Saturday, I'm at, it's sold out. God bless you for selling it out in Sayreville at the Starland Ballroom. I'll be sold out. Chris Cotton and Joe Matarese. Valentine's Day. Is very few tickets are sold. It might be sold out, but a few tickets might be left. I'm at the Borgata Valentine's Day. Then I'm at Cobb's. Ty Cobbs, Cobbs, Cobbs. Google them. February 19th through the 21st. I'm at Cobbs in San Francisco.
Love Cobbs.
And I'll be on Conan O'Brien, February the 24th, talking about this very podcast. Go to Artie Quitter. Artie Quitter, all one word, artiequitter.com for more info. But the great Conan having me on. Once again, Bombshell tonight. I'll go over the picks. Flippin' likes the Colts. Getting 6.5. Geno Bisconte likes Seattle minus 7.5.
That's right.
Dan Filato likes the Pats minus 6.5. Artie Lang likes the over in the Packers fucking Seattle game, 46 and a hook. Again, Artie Lang's lock, Artie Quitter's lock.
Are we
over Seattle Packers 46.5? Stacey Lang, my wonderful sister, I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for your support, your love, and the reason I'm alive. And of course, Vinny the Pooh, and all you people out there. Another great week, a second great week of the Artie Quitter podcast. When I come back next week, I'll talk about who pissed me off at the end of my book, Crash and Burn. I'll give a brief story on that. It's time. And take care, brush your hair. Have a good weekend.